video version there. Okay, we got that. Okay, here we go. This is it in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to Core. This is Core for Thursday, October 14th, 2021. We talk about video games here, the industry at large, games we're playing, and everything in between. And we hope you had a nice gaming week since we last saw you. I'm joined, of course, with and by John Jagger and Bo Schwartz. John, welcome back.
Oh, hi there.
We missed you last week. How are you doing? You doing good? You all right?
I missed being here.
Oh, good.
I saw the image that you put up, and I was glad that I was represented in some form. But I was sad I couldn't be here.
Yeah, it was sad. It was sad just to have your head with a can on it, with those very sexy men behind you. But you know, we could only do what we can do in the moment that we're given. I think Gandalf said that best. I don't think I said it very well though. I didn't repeat it very well. Nonetheless, it's great to have you back. Bo, of course, is here. We were having a great time last week, and you know, thinking all about Metroid Dread. Did we play it? Maybe. You'll have to wait and find out when we get to the part where we talk about it. But I'll just go ahead and say yes, people played it and really liked it, I think. So more on that as we get further into the show. For now, though, this. All right, let's get into what's going on. Oh, why is the music still playing? Hold on. There we go. I know how to do things. Who put this in, John or Bo, this Yoshi P thing?
Actually, Bo started it, and I fleshed it out because I think we were both on the same page with some of this stuff.
Well, I mean, I just liked what I saw, and I think my impression of this story is I'm like, oh, this is. I put refreshing. That's all I wrote, and I put the link.
Yeah.
And then John was like, oh, Bo put a Yoshi P article in here. Let's go to town. And I see like 4 lines of notes, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna talk about Final Fantasy.
We are definitely gonna do it. So this Final Fantasy.
John
14,
likes that game, so
the headline was, and I saw this headline floating around by itself, but Final Fantasy 14, not 14, sorry. Final Fantasy, what number 14. Is it? Yeah, 14.
Yeah,
why am I reading that wrong? The MMO, everybody. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, there's 2, so it doesn't clarify if you say the MMO.
The director wants you...
14.
Excuse me.
The headline says...
There are 2 MMOs in the Final Fantasy franchise.
Yeah, don't forget 11. Wait, was it 11? Yeah, it was 11.
Came out on the PS2. It's still going today. It's very... successful.
Shut up, really? Is that still a thing? You can play that?
Yeah, it's still going. Yeah.
Is it on PC or only on that console?
Here's the crazy thing. He's the director for both.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
All right, well, he wants you to be normal about the game's success, that being Final Fantasy 14.
This coming from the unnormal guy running 2 MMOs. Oh, my God.
He's...
Oh, and he's the director of 16 that's coming out.
Oh.
So.
And 16 is a normal mainline game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But back to the fantasy tropes of the Final Fantasy, and not in a car with a bunch of dudes, right?
I don't think there's going to be a car. There's been one trailer. I don't think I saw a car.
Okay. Is it bad that I want
Final Fantasy? Nothing's off the table.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a car, but you'll have I don't know. You'll have something weird.
Yeah. What weird thing do you want? What weird mount do you want out of this, John? What do you hope 16 provides?
I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I thought Final Fantasy 14 got weird. Like, I thought a lot of this stuff eventually showed up, but as somebody who's been going through that series, I gotta tell you, Final Fantasy has always been weird. It's never not been weird.
Yeah.
Literally, the first game, they're like, well, we're pretty sure we're in a time loop caused by chaos, and the only way to really deal with it is to go kill chaos. So why don't you go back in time when it began and just destroy chaos for us? Like, that's where they started.
Sure.
So that's what they built upon.
Yeah.
And, you know, by 3, we've got a giant engine that keeps a continent floating above the rest of the world, but it's going to fail. So a guy jumped in it. His name was Douche, and he jumped in it and kept the continent from falling. Which is
I'm sorry, was his name actually Douche?
I mean, that's how I read it.
Okay.
I don't know. There's many ways you can pronounce it, probably.
Let's not get into pronouncing Final Fantasy names.
Yeah, that's how I read it. It's spelled
Titus conversation.
Yeah.
It's spelled similarly at the very least.
And that all ties into that thing coming out.
I'm here to kill chaos.
That guy. That's
chaos.
happening. Yeah.
Man, can we take a moment to just appreciate that I think whoever is making that game is either crazy or a genius or both.
Okay.
That might be the most memeable, like, they've done 2 demos, right?
Yeah.
They've shown it twice.
Right.
And both times it has taken the internet by storm. The first time, all the I'm gonna kill chaos, you gotta kill chaos, chaos, chaos business.
Yeah.
And then the second time with the guy going bullshit and then starting his phone and walking away to his own soundtrack after saying bullshit to somebody.
They're not
just
doing it on
poured her
purpose.
heart out.
They're not doing it on purpose. Because I read an article somewhere that was saying that for the second marketing release, the Japanese version has a whole bunch of mentions of chaos, and they expunged it from the English one because they didn't like how it was lampooned. They thought it was bad. They're not responsible enough to hear the word chaos more than once, so we're gonna edit chaos out. But they still managed. I saw that ridiculous bullshit, like emo teen reaction of like bringing his hood up and tossing on headphones and walking away to like a legitimate, what seemed like a legitimate concern.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't think they get it. I think whoever's making this thinks what they're doing is pretty cool. And
yeah,
it's weird for us to be laughing at it.
I think you're right. I think this is one of those things where the viralness is coming from the earnestness of it. Like they're being earnest and we are interpreting it as crazy. And I love that. I love when that happens. That's my favorite kind of jank.
It went from a thing that I had almost no interest in except to make, to riff on the memes of it all. And it has become something I'm genuinely excited about because I'm like, this seems like it is chaos.
Yeah.
Like this game.
Yeah.
What is this game where somebody carries around his phone so he can walk away to his own soundtrack? I need to play this game. I'm so excited for it now.
Yeah.
Like they did it. They sold me on this thing that I had no interest in.
Yeah,
so.
when I saw the first Origin stuff at E3, I went, probably not going to go anywhere near that. That looks bad. And then they showed this thing and the phone, and I went, I'm playing that game. Like, what? That's so dumb to me that it's even interesting to me now, but yet here I am. I want to play it. So we'll see how it goes. Because that just means that the game's going to be full of weird shit in it that we're going to interpret here, and it'll be fun time content for the show. So watch for that, I suppose. Someone in the chat says, let's see, Sir Whiskey Jack says, Final Fantasy 16 is a Witcher-inspired game with Devil May Cry-inspired combat. Is that confirmed? Like
it's the first I'm hearing of it.
That's interesting. Witcher-inspired, DMC-inspired combat.
I would be all about it. The trailer seemed very action-y as far as what they were showing, but that's usually the case in trailers, so you never know.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. It's too early to say. But anyway, the whole point of this was Naoko Yoshida is begging you to stop being weird about World of Warcraft. It's a really interesting read. I mean, basically, I don't know what I'd call this. It's like an exercise in humility, isn't it? Like they could be dicks about the sudden resurgence of the popularity of Final Fantasy in MMO form, or at the very least, kind of rub it in the noses of World of Warcraft. But they're always in the middle of like saying, well, there is no Final Fantasy online without World of Warcraft. We're so inspired by it. Like, it just feels like this humble thing going on.
I'm pretty sure that opinion's gotta not be shared by the, money-making business arm of this company, right?
Yeah.
It's a company with a lot of people. He's a creative, not necessarily, thinking along the same wavelength maybe as someone who's like, sweet, our shares are gonna go up. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Blizzard sucks. Square Enix the best. Come join us. Like. But it's kind of refreshing to see it because I don't know. Like when I saw it, I was much ado is made about this exodus from World of Warcraft. Like we can just kind of stop playing the game we're not into. Like I stopped playing Pokemon Unite. I didn't go like, I'm leaving Pokemon Unite because it's a giant piece of shit. And Niantic or whoever made it's like it's this whole like it's stupidity is what it is. Like yes, there's shit going on with Blizzard. Yes, there's disillusionment. But like at the end of the day, it's just a video game, guys. Like it doesn't. I think a lot of people need to have a reality check about what's important in their life, that this is like the big dramatic news that it is. Yes, I know people play these games often and have friendships over them and stuff like that, but like some perspective is needed. And I kind of like that he's like, stop making this an us versus them. Like, just play our game.
Yeah, play it or don't.
Please
whatever.
don't play it 80 hours a week.
This is a quote. Here's a quote from it that I thought was interesting. When asked about the game's current relationship to the WoW exodus, he said the following: "I'm afraid I'm not really fond of that trend of people saying, oh, this person has moved over to such and such game. From his perspective, it's totally fine to drift from game to game. In the past, he has encouraged people to take a break between major updates to Final Fantasy XIV in what may seem like an odd strategy for the director of an MMO, but it seems to work really well. By encouraging his community to take breaks and follow their interests, Yoshida effectively manages audience burnout, and the game is all the stronger for it," states this article. Yeah, I like it. It's refreshing. It's different.
Yeah, he's got a cool philosophy, and I know we're coming off the back of a lot of us saying, like, hey, let's not put people on pedestals, but, don't do that. But listen to what he has to say, because I think he's got some really interesting points. I mean, he is notorious for being a World of Warcraft fan. He has... back when they had it, he would go to BlizzCon, things like that. He'd go there and check it out. He's a big video game fan, and I think his stance of, it's fine to challenge each other, to see what your competitor's doing and go, oh, can we do that better? Can we learn from that? What can we do? But at the end of the day, we all have to keep in perspective that this is video games we're talking about. Yeah. And it's not supposed to be something that you get too serious about.
Yeah.
Which is something that I feel like, and this is kind of why I thought this was why I expanded it, is because in a lot of ways, this has been ingrained into our DNA for a long time. For me, it was the Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah.
That advertisement. Like, for the longest time, we have been on this, like, you get to pick one console, and you got to pick the right console. Don't pick the wrong console. They're going to lead you astray. And it's always been this us versus them. And I think it's kind of ingrained itself. It's in there in everything. Like, it's human nature to do it because we want to feel right about the decisions we make.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we go to the movie, we want to go see the better movie if
Right.
two movies come out. Like, oh, did you go see Air Force One or Con Air? You better pick the better movie. It doesn't matter. Both of those movies are awful and great at the same time. But at the end of the day, you got to pick the right one. You got to go see the good one.
Sure.
But I think video games, it has been leaned into in a fun way for a very long time. And I think, unfortunately, the nature of the internet, and you put it in front of enough people, it stops being fun at a certain point.
Yeah.
And it starts getting a little too serious.
I agree. The toxicity comes out of that, and then it just kind of perpetuates itself. Another quote I really liked in his interview was this. During that same interview with PC Gamer, Yoshida goes on to dissuade his audience from becoming overly committed to the game, meaning his game. Says, I also worry about some people getting a little too enthusiastic to the point that they are sort of binding people down, chaining people down, and going into the community and almost attacking those people who want to take a break sometimes and maybe enjoy a different game, and chain them down in that way. It's translation, so it's probably not perfect, but I get the idea. I dig this dude's vibe. I think he's great. I really do. Hey, I got a conspiracy theory though. What if this is all just to distract everybody from how truly shitty their account system is, and how they just never update the damn thing? And
I mean, well, it's to distract from a number of things though too, because at the same time as I agree with this, they're also not building the kind of virtual world that, like, it seems designed as a gameplay experience, like of a finite length, and you can play more of it if you love it. But a lot of these things, like committing to rating, committing to weekly things, does mean that you are committing a certain amount of hours of your game time to a game. So while it's great that he says that, a lot of interest in the MMO genre, at least let's say from 10 or 20 years ago, does involve commitment.
Yeah.
And so it's great for him to say, yeah, our game, like, I'm like, yeah, your game doesn't involve commitment. Like, everything's easy in this game. Like, like comparatively, like, sure. I don't think high tier rating in Final Fantasy XIV can hold a match to high tier rating and PvP activities in World of Warcraft. Like, I think
PvP
Blizzard
for sure, because they don't really do PvP in Final
I mean,
Fantasy
I
14.
think Blizzard and esports companies in general build games that you do need to spend commitments on because you are practicing and getting better at the sport of your choice. So it's a bit naive to completely tell people not to commit to games, because that commitment is important because you're depending on other people. So you want to be somewhere reliably for people that you're teammates with or that you're guild mates with. You do need at some level to commit to some games. So and like that's not the game they have. He's not coming out here saying like, and we don't have a game like that, so don't treat it that way. Like there are games that do reward or require commitment, and so I think it's a bit naive.
Yeah.
It's a bit naive.
I don't think that's what he's really saying, though. I think what he's saying is like he doesn't want to cultivate a game that is about little breadcrumbs to keep you logging in every single day. He wants to put in a game that has content for those that want to seek it out, but not do the big criticism of WoW right now is like, oh, I gotta log in, I gotta do my dailies so I can get my anima, so I can put my anima into the machine, so that I can buy the thing, so I can unlock the ability to grind anima to buy the cosmetics that I want. Like, he doesn't want to make a game that's like that, which is what I have found refreshing about when I got to the end game in Final Fantasy XIV. Was I couldn't believe how quickly I was getting stuff. I was like, wait a minute, I did this and I got a thing for it. Like that's not how MMOs work. I'm supposed to do this 13 more times over the course of 2 months and be rewarded there for it. And I think more of what he's saying isn't that there isn't anything to do, because, geez, I'm trying to get ready for Endwalker on my second character, and I feel like I'm out of time. But it isn't
started
that
a second character. I mean, what?
I know,
Isn't one enough in that game? Like, oh my
God.
It's
is actually. It's on me. But but like there is the ability to decide to go deep on a lot of things, but also that, if you want to check out, they're making a game that lets you do that pretty easily. It's not, you're not going to feel like, oh God, I got left behind. Like, you can step away from Final Fantasy. I mean, you did, Bo, but if you were to come back in 7 months, it's going to be the same game, more or less. You're going to be in the same spot. You're going to have the same quest. Maybe your job has changed a little bit, maybe, but typically it's going to be just on the higher end that those changes occur. Like, you're going to be right back in and you can play. There's not going to be a penalty. It's not going to be like, well, you didn't log in, so you've missed out on this. The closest they get to stuff like that is the car. Like, you didn't log in during this annual event, so you missed the car. You'll have to get the car next year.
Yeah, I also like that the game, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody alluded to this in the chat, but it was on my mind. But when they do an event, for example, whatever currencies are involved in that event are not exclusive to some particular grind. Like, you can earn those through almost every other thing you do in the game. Like, all those activities contribute to you earning what you need to do a thing.
Yeah, they do kind of a rotation. So, go ahead.
Well, when I hit 40, there's a vendor that you traded reputation for items. I think it had to do with getting the mount or something like that.
Right, but you can earn.
I hit a cap on the day, and I had to log in the next day to complete earning things. I don't think it's completely devoid of these systems.
Well, they're not. Well, what I mean is, like, if you in World of Warcraft you want to do a certain thing, is a very specific kind of activity you have to do to earn the thing you want. It used to be they'd experiment with some of that, so you could wear a tabard in a dungeon and earn reputation that way, but they took all that shit out eventually, and now it's just you got to do this thing, and that's all you can do. It seems like, and again, my time in the game has been much more limited, but in Final Fantasy XIV, you can earn a lot of what that stuff is, even if there's a daily cap. You can earn it by doing a myriad of activities, not just one thing that may or may not be your jam. And that alone is a huge thing for me anyway.
I agree. I like the reputation tabards. That's the Wrath of the Lich King era.
Yeah, I thought those were all right.
I liked them because then I could do dungeons, which I enjoyed, and didn't have to do other weird reputation earning stuff that I didn't enjoy. So yeah.
But yeah, you're right, Scott. Basically, for a simplistic version of it, if you're in old content, there's only one currency. You get it from a bunch of different stuff. It is the same currency through all that old content. So whatever you do that earns that currency, you're just building up. and they kind of use that as a catch-up mechanic because it allows you to kind of proactively get to gear. Once you get to current content, there are then 2 more types of currency at that level, and you have one that has a daily cap and one that does not, or I think it might be a weekly cap, not daily. But one has a cap, one doesn't have a cap, and the stuff that has a cap is like the hardest top tier stuff. So it's stuff that you may not even hit the cap unless you're kind of going crazy on it anyway.
Sure.
But you do earn it from multiple different methods. So there's different paths to get that stuff. And I mean, I won't lie, the game has different currencies and different grinds, but it's pretty good at like saying, okay, you're opting in to do this content. Do you like it? And if so, yeah, here's what you do for this.
Yeah.
And if not, it's skippable.
It's
The only thing in Final Fantasy that's not really skippable unless you're going to pay real money is the story. And that's the thing that they're like, that's what we think is the most important part of the game.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of players seem to agree. But yeah, it's like a wider funnel, the game. WoW has a funnel that starts out very wide, but then gets very narrow in endgame. And it says, here is the one thing pretty much that you're going to be doing. And yeah, you can raid, and yeah, you can PvP, and these things have been there forever. But really, progression is tied to this narrow funnel. And Final Fantasy seems to have a bigger funnel, and you enter it large, and it kind of exits large, because there's just plenty to do that may or may not be your kind of game to play. Like I will give it credit for that. It always had something I could go do that was, if I wasn't finding the current thing I was doing fun, I could go do that instead.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really powerful testament to what MMOs probably should be more like. They should be less narrow and more wide open, like more. It's not even sandboxy. I don't even know the word for this, but just
no,
more,
but it's along those lines. Like it should feel like a world.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what it felt like. Is that's where my
that's why I enjoyed barding, because I just wanted to log into the virtual world and just do something that wasn't on a rail path.
Right.
Yeah.
You reminded me of those dancer types back in Star Wars Galaxy days. Did you play that at all when that was out?
No, I didn't play Star Wars Galaxies. Was there?
But you could do that. You could get in there, go down to Mos Eisley, get into the cantina, and dance all day. That's all you had to do if you wanted to. And there was no.
Yep, you'd level up from it and everything.
Yeah, it was just.
Really?
Very
Cool.
Sandboxy kind of open. Kind
Yeah,
of thing.
like I mean, that's the sales pitch on an MMO. Like there's a million games. It's like you're on there with other people. You can do. You don't have to do the traditional things for entertainment. You can, have social interactions, etc.
Sure. Well, anyway, it seems like a cool read. You guys can go check it out. It's up on Kotaku and worth reading.
And I would just add, he's so this is all of this information and stuff that we've seen is coming off of the back of, they had a big media summit about the new Endwalker expansion coming out. And as a result, he made himself available to a lot of people. So if you check out YouTube or your favorite streamers or whatever, if they're Final Fantasy related, there's a good chance they have an interview with him. And I've watched a bunch of them. Kyle actually sent me a message today and was like, man, these interviews are great. He's a very interesting guy. He's into a ton of games. And he's actually a bit of a hardcore gamer himself when he plays. So he's got a lot to say, and a lot of it's very, very interesting. And I'd recommend checking those out because it's been fascinating to watch.
When's this expansion due?
November something. I think we're like 40 some days away or something like
Okay. that. All right, not too far.
Like late November.
There'll be chocobos in there, I assume. That'll be a thing.
Well, probably.
Okay, good.
Chocobos are important.
Yeah, no, they're literally. This seems to be the only animal in the entire game. Just kidding. There's plenty.
They don't seem to eat them. They look delicious.
Yeah, they do.
I bet a chocobo would taste good.
It's
It's
interesting.
like a super chicken. You probably imagine the KFC sandwiches you can make with an all chocobo sandwich.
for
Like
real,
the bun is
right?
Chocobo, the meat is chocobo.
Just a single chocobo could feed a village for 2 months. I'll bet you. One chocobo down, everyone lives.
But they were like, no, let's make them like horses. One world goes this way, the other world goes that way.
Yeah.
We don't eat chocobos.
No, don't eat a chocobo. Don't eat your dog. Don't eat a chocobo. That's basically what we're saying. All right. Moving on. GTA or G4. It's coming back. You guys remember G4 TV? Remember that? That was a thing. Oh, Bo may not. I don't know. Did Canada have?
Was that on? Was that on TV? Because I grew up without cable as well. So
well, it was a cable channel. So it was an entire channel that original. Well, no, hold on. G4 started as Tech TV, right? And then Tech TV was like old school Leo Laporte, like tech stuff. Here's how a modem works. Check it out. Whatever,
Wasn't
that kind of stuff.
ZDTV first. It was
I think you're right.
TV, then Tech TV.
Yep. Zip Davis
then
TV,
G4.
then Tech TV, then G4, and G4 kept around a bunch of the tech stuff, but basically it branded itself as a video game channel pretty early on. It changed pretty quick though to also be here's where you're going to get reruns of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and also we got a weird game show where people jump on trampolines, and it got weird pretty quickly.
Did.
Yeah. But then it went away. I liked it because it had that Adam Sessler review show with Morgan Webb. Forgot the name. X-Play.
Yep.
Which sounds like something Microsoft would wish they could use for things like instead of Game Pass, they would much rather call that X-Play, but it's taken, so they can't. But anyway, it was cool because it was ours, right? It felt like it was aimed at us. And so
I loved G4.
Yeah.
I basically from the moment we got ZDTV, I basically had that on all the time whenever I was watching TV. So that Tech TV I was way into for a long time as well, and then G4 I was really into. I liked X-Play, I liked Attack of the Show, I would watch Cops and Ninja Warrior if it was on, and Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yep.
Which I think if I remember correctly, I believe it was G4 that did this. Maybe it was somebody else, but they would do like some like meta game stuff with their Star Trek reruns. So it would have like a tally on the side that would say how many red shirts had died in the episode and how many like people had been beamed, and like it really doubled down on all that. So I thought that was fun.
It was all right. And this reboot's going to have Ninja Warrior episodes reruns.
Yeah, they bought the rights to the catalog of Ninja Warrior so they can air that. So if you're like me, it was like, you know what? I do want to watch Ninja Warrior again. You can.
So is it a channel or is it on YouTube?
They've done a little bit of both. So they did some streaming, and now it is actually going to be on television.
Yeah. So it looks like they've got a deal with Verizon, Fios, Cox, Philo, Comcast, and Xfinity, which is the same company.
So there still is television.
Yeah, it'll be on TV.
Okay.
I think that what I wanted out of G4, it never quite did, and it tried. It had some attempts that were pretty good, but I wanted a bunch of documentaries. Like, imagine like the no-clip stuff. I wanted that kind of content where it was like, hey, let's look at the history of Doom and why that's such a big deal and blah, blah, blah. Like, I wanted more of that, and they did some, and they had a show called I forgot the name of it, but it was basically that short hour-long documentaries about video games and the history of gaming and stuff like that. I would want more of that here, but then part of me says, well, wouldn't you just strike a deal with like Netflix and make a series about that? Like, why does it have to be a channel, so I don't know.
Yeah, not a lot of people doing the channel thing these days.
No. Not so much.
It's weird. I think it's a cool nostalgia hit. We'll see how successful it is. I have a lot of nostalgia for this sort of thing, but even I'm like, I don't sit down and watch.
Especially because it's aimed at a tech audience, right? Like, is the tech audience watching cable? Like,
Yeah.
Like if it's like we're aiming it at the retirement age people, soap operas, Grey's Anatomy, whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe they're watching TV. Is your Linux administrators, are they like having a cable package watching Oprah in the afternoon or something, like, or she's not on, but whoever, like, I'm like, I don't think this is the right demo for I don't know. If they're simulcasting it on the internet, then probably it'll
even Oprah, who had a network and also magazines and all the other shit she did, she's got a deal on is it Apple? Yeah, Apple TV Plus runs her docu-series thing now. Like, she's even partnered up with somebody. I just think that's the future. I don't know why you'd mess with a channel, but
I got to assume it's more than just a channel.
Yeah. Knucklebones wants to know if Leo's getting a show on there. No. What I'm telling you that because I actually do have some inside information that is not happening. But yeah, it's interesting. We'll see if it means anything to us. I'm guessing it won't. I have a feeling it's going to just kind of be.
I mean, unless they've got a really good show on there, I don't want to count them out. There might be some like, oh my god, did you see what happened on System Builders last week? I've never watched it. I don't know what's on there.
I mean, here's the problem. Other problem is
nothing about
YouTube.
G4.
Basically has a million G4s now. Like,
well, yeah,
take
like
your
Linus
pick.
Tech Tips, right? Like every now and then I'm on a Linus video watching the Steam Deck, like the preview of what the Steam Deck is.
Yeah, we no longer need these things to coagulate our content because that content's all spread out and democratized, and it's difficult to pull that all back in and say, well, we're the only channel worth watching. So I don't know. I just don't know what their chances are like. But hey, if they got a bunch of money from these companies, Comcast, Xfinity, Fios, all that, that's big money. So maybe they'll
good
back
on them. They're a talented group of people.
Yeah, the whole thing, got to remember, was founded by ex-Microsoft co-founder. Can't think of his name. Not Bill Gates. Not Steve Ballmer. The other guy. Ugh. Anyway, he bankrolled
You
us.
named the two I knew, so I'm not going to be able to guess on that.
Sidian says Kenneth Branagh. No, that's an actor.
Hey, I was thinking of Kenneth Branagh. What the hell?
Why?
I wish I would have said it now.
Paul Allen. There
why.
it is. Paul Allen.
I just thought it would be funny to say, and then I was like, "That's dumb. I'm not going to say that." And Allura said it in the chat.
Said it. Well, anyway, no, sorry, Paul Allen. He bankrolled it and then pulled out. Like, that's why that thing kind of went away quickly, as quickly as it started. He was a little bit weird with stuff like that.
It's a problem.
It is a problem. Well, the quick pull out, yeah, it's kind of an issue.
Yeah. You think it works, but it doesn't.
It doesn't work. Real quick here, I wanted to make sure we talked about this Avengers thing. Has anyone? So Avengers is on Game Pass now, right?
It is, yeah.
And I downloaded.
Oh, I even played it, but I didn't take credit for it in the show things. I've played the introductory level as Kamala Khan.
You did? Okay, yeah. So is it okay? I downloaded it on my Xbox and thought about putting it on my PC. It's cross save, so I could. Should I even bother? I don't know what to say about that game in 2021.
It's okay.
I mean, the starting experience was just okay. Like, it was just okay. It was like over the top cinematic, like, you know, there's a bridge and some bomb is going to be on it, but
is it fun? I mean, did you like the moment
to moment? Bad.
It's like playing a movie. Like, it felt like I was like, you know, lets you hit things a little bit, but then it does all the cinematic stuff. So it's like am I watching it or am I really playing it? I never really felt like I was playing it, but you know, I could see it. The reason I stopped playing was the whole thing hadn't downloaded. It was like the next chapter will load when it's fully downloaded, and I was like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I haven't picked it back up. So
all right,
I'd say it was all right.
Fine.
Like,
it's worth playing.
Well, the fact
I thought the introductory level was pretty good. Like, it was entertaining. I enjoyed, but there's just so many games that didn't. It's not. I'm not like, God, I gotta play the Avengers game. I'm like,
I mean, I
think it's
yeah. Go ahead.
I think it's important to set your expectations.
Yeah.
If you're going in and you're like, yeah, me and all my friends, we're gonna get in, we're gonna pick our favorite Avengers, we're gonna team up. It's gonna be combo moves and avenging. And that's what we're gonna do. No, it's not gonna happen. Nobody's playing it.
Okay.
But if you want to go in and play a pretty decent Marvel universe game,
looter shooter,
it's all right. Yeah. The loot isn't that good. So it's just like, have you ever looked at one of
the Hulk use?
Like fists.
Does he have better pants? Like, he better rip pants?
Fists and pants and gamma energy and bones. I think he loots bones.
See, I feel like not rewarding that kind of stuff on principle in a way. Cause I'm like, you know, like they don't need items. I don't know. That's a stupid take. I'm not gonna.
But,
I'm not gonna go deep on that, but it's weird, right? Like, what is Hulk gonna use? He's already strong. He's already level 100. Like, you don't need to level up the Hulk.
Yeah, but he's sad in this game, so you know maybe he just gets angry.
Sad.
Oh, what happened? Is he someone?
His friends died.
Oh, that's too bad.
Because the story is it's not spoilers. It's the opening. Captain America dies in the opening of the game.
He should be sad that not the most successful standalone version of the Hulk ever made was that crappy TV show in the 70s, and the movies have never quite cut it. That should make him sad. Because he's great as a bit player.
The Incredible Hulk was okay.
I liked it. Don't get me wrong, but that thing was a bomb in terms of like Marvel money.
That's true.
I like the Hulk. I'm a huge fan. I think he's great.
But if you've ever looked at a Marvel character or any of the Avengers,
Yeah.
the ones that are in the game, and gone, it would be cool to play as them, then yeah, you'll get something out of this.
Well, I downloaded
You'll
it.
play as all of them, and they feel okay. And
Yeah. Is it graphically nice and all that, or I mean?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
I don't like the art style. I think they made a mistake there. I think deciding to go Marvel Cinematic Universe adjacent was a problem, because you look at things and you either think it looks wrong or it doesn't look good enough.
You think they learned their lesson a little bit with that upcoming Guardians game? Because it looks like they're sticking closer to like comic adaptations and not adjacent MCU. Do you know what I mean?
It's a step in the right direction for sure.
I
Because I
agree.
look at it and I go, okay, it looks like the comic books. It doesn't look like they're trying too hard to be like the movies.
I feel like I'll just wait for that. I'll just play that.
Captain America looks like somebody like a handsome man Elaine would date on Seinfeld.
It's
You know
true.
what I mean?
That's 100% true.
Like it's not a full, like Hollywood handsome. It's like a New York Seinfeld handsome where she's like,
Right.
oh my god.
And she's gonna
I'm
really
watching
like
the
him.
the ugly baby episode.
Yeah.
Where the doctor's there and he's like, "Oh, you're breathtaking," and Elaine's like, "Oh my god!" And then he looks at the ugly baby and he goes, "Yeah, that baby's breathtaking." And
Yeah,
she's like,
it's like that guy.
I'm like,
That's great.
so, but like that doctor, like that look of like, yes, that's what they kind of look like. Seinfeld.
You're 100% right.
Seinfeld
Literally,
actors.
my thought when I saw Captain America, this is what went through my head, was he looks like somebody's dad, where you would go, "Oh, dude, that person's dad is attractive," and they would go, "Yeah, I guess he is,"
Mhm.
and that would be the entire conversation, and you just go, he just looks like a good looking dude.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
dad attractive. We're not talking created in a genetic lab. Chris Evans attractive.
No.
Like
Different kind. Yeah.
yeah.
By the way, I love that. I just saw it because it was on in the background or something, but the episode where Elaine's really liking the guy she's going out with, and then for some reason in the car he pulls his wiener out. You guys remember that one? That's a great episode.
What season? I haven't gotten there. I'm up to season 6. I'm doing like a full watch. I've been watching it every day all week.
You're almost there.
Okay.
It's a fantastic episode. It's great. The way they deal with the whole thing is great.
I mean, the domain episode. I forgot how great that
It's
one
so
is. That's
funny.
a pretty good one.
Everything's great. Seinfeld's great. Everyone complaining that it's 4:3 or sorry, 16:9 on Netflix forgot that it was already that on Hulu and has been the entire time. So the internet just likes to freak out about things multiple times and forget that they already freaked out about it.
Yeah.
Boo-hoo. All right, moving on. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe that'll be good. G4 TV making a big fat comeback. Avengers adding XP boost. We talked about that. Oh no, we didn't.
No, we didn't. We just talked about the game. If it was good,
That's right.
We
they
reviewed it.
So this is the reason it's even news. They backtracked originally, and I remember this. They were making a big stink about, hey, by the way, we're not going to be pay to win of any sort. It's only going to be cosmetics in this store. So buy a cool Hulk armor and nothing, not even XP boosts. Well, now you can get XP boosts, or you will soon. They're adding it. I don't know what happened here. Probably just need money.
Just a sign that the game's not making money. So they're like, well, who cares about reputation?
Yeah. I think
They're probably even losing the contract at a certain point. I'd be willing to bet based on the tepid sale. You know what I mean? Like the future of this thing's in jeopardy. I can't imagine the Marvel franchise going, "You really killed it with the Avengers release. We're going to give you more contracts."
Yeah.
We have a long promising future. So it's kind of like, just monetize it and get what we can out of some suckers and let's move on.
Especially with how long that game was in development, and that they felt the need to continue down their... I mean, I guess I will say this. I respect the fact that they put out a roadmap of like, here's what we want to put out, and that even though that game by all accounts has not done well, they have stuck to it.
Yeah.
They put out another Hawkeye and Black Panther and Spider-Man's coming and all of that. Like, it's not a bunch of broken promises. I mean, they said they weren't going to do this, and they are, but like, by and large, they continued to support that game despite everybody else kind of ignoring it. So I do have a lot of respect for that. But I think Bo's right. I think this is like, well, let's try and get whatever money we can out of this thing before it goes away forever.
Yeah. It's a video game equivalent of a politician promising no new taxes and then having new taxes, which happens almost every time they say that. So there's a reason Bush Sr. didn't get 2 terms, is what I'm getting at.
They're like everyone's going to be mad, but nobody's playing it. So the people that are playing it probably don't read the news, and they won't care. They'll buy it probably. Like, I'm assuming. It
would have been great if they said, "Read my lips. No pay to win options in our store." Yeah, repeat history there. Anyway,
I mean, it's so unfair how we parcel this out, though, because I mean, Final Fantasy does it, 14, right? Like, the story skip is basically an XP boost.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, that's true.
So, I mean, it is kind of unfair how we pick and choose who's, like, offside.
Well,
I don't think the rules are super clear.
I think the
just
issue,
to play devil's advocate.
I think the issue isn't that it exists. I think the issue is that they said they weren't going to do it, and then they're like, yeah, we're going to do it.
Yeah, Final Fantasy never said they weren't going to do anything, and they, so whatever they're doing, they just do. And also, I don't know, I think a lot of people, the splashback of the console specifically, or console dominant action looter shooter games, all trying to get in on that, and everybody trying to figure out what to do, and EA being very egregious with their money grubbing at the time, I think just made people really sensitive to these particular kinds of games. And when they include things that aren't, if they're going to charge $59 and then keep charging money for something in a store, I don't think that's as easy to swallow as saying our MMO will have an option to boost a character or to bring him to current, or skip a story or whatever. I think people just have a different tolerance for that. I think I do, anyway. I think
I've come to the conclusion that it's all scams, no matter what degree. Like, you have a game, you play chess, you play Mario Brothers, like, you play the game exists as it is. And you've got these scenarios where gaming has reached complexity where, do you want to save time? Pay us money and we can save you time. And it's like, it's just like, just let the game be what it is. Like, it's like, it's a scam. Like, it's just flipping a few bits in a SQL database. There you go. Like, it's a scam.
You heard it here first. Bo says video games are a scam. I like it.
Like any time saving boosting. Like, even like Warframe and its boosting. Like, it doesn't take 24 hours to build the hammer or axe in there. I know it doesn't take that long. That's just like a little timer in your database, and you're like, well, we could change the value in here for $10.
Yeah,
like it's I think all to varying degrees a scam, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, it's the time and day we live in, I suppose.
And well, I mean, we're weak. I mean, we get scammed by all kinds of things, not just games. So
I had a weird experience this week, and I didn't put it on my list for just because why would I bring it up? But I really quite like Star Trek Legends, which is one of those games on mobile, and hear me out, John, before you say anything. A game on mobile where it's an IP like Star Trek, and you can collect all these people. You got Kirk and Spock and everybody in between, all the way up to modern Star Trek Discovery and characters from movies and all this stuff. And you collect them and unlock them and do that whole thing, and then you go out and fight, and there's turn-based battles. You know the game I'm talking about, the kind of game I'm talking about. What I like about this game is it's Apple Arcade exclusive, which means no microtransactions of any kind and no ads of any kind. There's none of that in the game. So everything in the game is played as a game. It's like, unlock it, do the mission, and then now you've got the benefit, or you've got the results or the loot or the levels or whatever. Your guy leveled up, give him a new phaser. Sweet, wait, well done. Let's go out on another mission, or let's do some PvP or whatever. All of those trappings are there that those games always have. There's the Marvel one, and Star Wars has one. Everybody's got one of these. This Star Trek one is that game. It's that game type minus all microtransactions and all store stuff. It's all off. It's off table. There's no way to even do it if you wanted to. Now, I will admit, playing that one time, I went, oh, I wish I could just boost Geordi to where I need him to be. Because I found Geordi at a low level, and I want to get him in the main crew.
Sometimes needs a little boost, even in the show. I think that's canon.
Yeah, that's actually very much in his character. Yeah.
Sometimes people need to give him a little guidance.
Yeah, but part of me was like, damn it.
I made you in the holodeck, but it was simply to solve a problem. It wasn't for... Look, We fell in love naturally, but I didn't create you for that reason.
That episode always makes me sad. I can't watch it without feeling bad for him. But anyway, I want to get Jordy. I want to match him up with the current crew that I run with and dump this. I have a Borg guy who's fine. He's just kind of boring, but he's over leveled.
I am Borg.
And the Borg is the Borg is good. I've got him nice and stacked out stats wise, but he's a normal character without any real benefits. Jordy's got all kinds of benefits, but he's super low level. And for a hot second, I went, "Oh, I wish I could just pay $2 somewhere and just get this guy."
Hear that, Star Trek Legends?
I know. Like that's part of the problem.
You're leaving money on the
stuff.
table. What kind of developer are you?
Yeah.
The kind of developer that loses money for its shareholders.
Well, they didn't.
Terrible developer.
But remember, this is. I mean, they're getting paid plenty because they're doing the Apple exclusivity thing, and they're doing fine.
But I know
like
what you
game.
mean.
Yeah.
But like, isn't Animal Crossing like that? I haven't played an Animal Crossing, but my sense is Animal Crossing is time bound, right? Like
It is. You
It
can
is,
certain
yeah.
activities.
cheat it.
Yeah.
Okay, set aside the cheating side of the conversation, but the product as is, like, you don't. Baby doesn't get everything Baby wants right away, and not also for money, right? Baby is you, the gamer, us, the gamer. Let's say, which is how the money scam works. Like, we create an artificial scenario where Baby wants boost now, and you're like, okay, I'll pay, and you get.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's bad, like in your case, Scott, to have a game that's designed to just make you savor it in some reasonable way, right?
Mm-hmm. I guess what I found out or what I learned was, I don't know if it's conditioned me, or I don't know what it was, but it was there that tendency came out in me. It's a thing I normally hate and decry, and this idea that, oh, I'll pay my way to success in a game. I hate that. Like, at a very fundamental level, I don't like it. But there I was wishing for it in this one case for poor Geordie LaForge, and it didn't happen. It didn't go our way. So
It's just it's
They
an
do it in Uber Eats too. Like, have you ordered from Uber Eats recently?
I've never done Uber Eats. I only do DoorDash, but I know
I ordered,
yeah.
and it's like you can order normal speed or you can have
Oh,
priority
yeah.
speed, and
Yeah.
I'm like, isn't everything a priority? Like, what do you mean priority speed? Like, are they taking a jet to my house? Like, what am I paying an extra? They already charge a delivery fee and a service fee, and now I'm going to pay a priority fee so I can get it. What, 5 minutes sooner? Like, and that's just the point. It's like, it's all made up. It's all invented to manipulate people.
It's all made up.
Like,
Everything's
so, but the fact that, like, on a human basis, like, if gratification is delayed, and you want that gratification now, and there's a way to do it, it can be hard to force yourself to delay that gratification.
Yeah.
To me, that's the most fascinating thing about video games. Is like, yes, you can oversimplify everything down to, like, hey, here's a load screen, or here's a starting screen, press start, end credits, you beat the game. Nobody's going to find that satisfying. There has to be some challenge, some progress, something in the middle there. But we've gotten to a place with gaming where we've gotten, like, play styles of your typical mobile games where it's like, okay, send them on a mission, come back in, 4 hours and see the results of that mission. And we get to this mindset of like, well, why can't I skip that? I need a way to skip this. And to me, it's fascinating to try and determine where the lines and barriers are of what is appropriate challenge that we expect and find okay, and what is challenge that we feel compelled to skip. And like, oh no, that's acceptable that I can go over. And I think chat kind of nailed it, even if that's not what they're talking about right now. It's like boring. Like, honestly, I think you are enjoying like whatever the dopamine hits of that Star Trek game are, but there's nothing entertaining about leveling up Geordie LaForge.
Well, why are they making you wait? Like,
Well, you don't have to.
Because to echo John, it seems like bad game design. Like, why not let you just level it up? Like, where's?
Well, you can. I just got to go get these leveling ingredients things that'll let me artificially level them. Now, I can also send him on missions, even ones while I'm not playing. Well, he'll come back with some levels. Like, there's ways to build the dude out and do it in a relatively quick fashion. But it's like an MMO or any other kind of game where, these are treated like characters who need either direct experience or the in-game, some of the loot is basically artificial experience giving. And It's just that in the real world, or I should say in the regular app store, when you buy one of these kinds of games, like the Star Wars one, you get Darth Vader, you're like, oh shit, he's legendary. Sweet, okay. Got to get him leveled up. And if you don't have the stuff, you just go spend $4.99 and do it. And I think maybe I was just a little conditioned for that, even though I never do that normally. I just had this desire.
But I think to what my point is like, okay, but if the gameplay of leveling him up and powering him up was actually interesting, instead of just like no, I pressed the button and made him, now he's going to be better now because I pushed the button. Like, you can simplify any game. You can take the original Final Fantasy and go, well, okay, but these fights aren't hard. So what if I just said, okay, this is how powerful my character is? I mean, I feel like this is where that, like,
the fights are so interesting in Final Fantasy, they gave you an auto battle option.
Right. I mean, that's step one, right? And step two is like, okay, well, rather than do a whole loading screen and fight, why don't we just say, if you're above the level of what you encounter, you automatically defeat it? Okay, well, if we're going to do that, then why don't we just have no enemies? Why don't you just walk where you need to go? Okay, well, why don't we just say, like, okay, you're the king and you sent the adventurers, and then you just say, congratulations, you did it. Like, slowly you remove gameplay for the, like, well, there's no reason for this, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing the reason it's in there is because it's interesting. And I think the reason people go, well, let me buy a skip, is because they don't find it interesting. It's boring.
Yeah.
It's got to mean the game's bad. Let me pay not to play the game.
I mean, it can be, but part of it is, like, if you're really into the collection of it, like this game also has an auto fight feature, like an autoplay feature. It also has speeded up to 4 times the speed or whatever. So you do get to a point where you're just like, I need to tear through this content. And they seem to know that. Like, they know that you're not going to be really methodical about your turn-based activity because you're 1,000 points higher in power than the team you're fighting. So big deal. Just go ahead and lay waste to them. It's more of a gotta collect them all kind of jive. And I do like away missions because I can send them off, and 2 hours later I get a notification, hey, and it's always weird. It's like, hey, Picard, a Klingon, some weird alien I've never heard of, and a Borg are back, and they got all the shit done. Send them out again. Like, I like that kind of stuff. It's like Companions in WoW or other games that do this. Star Wars.
It's a game style, like a party management sort of thing.
I like doing that, and it's working on Jordy. He is climbing the ranks because I just keep sending him on missions, and then he gets leveled and comes back, and I didn't have to do anything. But I don't know why I like it. I like it. I like that game.
Yeah,
but it's got
the point you were making was just that you would also take a skip just to be like, all right, let me just
just like this one time,
just an impulse you had, and you said, oh my god, we're so used to it that we think.
Well, part of the fun of that game is, I think they're trying to say, hey, what if you had the craziest group of Worf, Kirk, Michael, what's her name from the new show?
Myers.
Yeah, Michael Myers, and Shinzon from the movie, from Nemesis, played by Tom Hardy. What if that was your group? Like, that's what they want you to do, is like mix and match all these generations together, because that's the story of the game. Is how you're crossing time and space and all this. But I just want to make a really kick-ass TNG crew. And I've already got Worf. He's my max. He's my most leveled character right now.
You play a lot of cool characters. There's Garrick and like...
all of them, yes. Garrick.
Broccoli in there.
Broccoli's in it. Name the character.
What does he do?
Name the Star Trek character. They're all in it. He's an engineering class.
I'm sure O'Brien is in there.
Miles O'Brien's in it. And they're
Ryan's
all
wife. What's her name? I'm just forgetting.
Whose wife? Oh, Keiko. I don't know if Keiko's in there. She might be.
Keiko O'Brien.
Yeah, she might be.
What about Alexander? I want to form a team. It's Alexander Nog. Yeah.
I mean,
Alexander Nog.
Who's the one that says?
Wesley.
Wesley is team annoying team like just Alexander Nog, Wesley, and we just need a fourth.
I don't know.
Picard as a kid from that episode where they got turned into kids.
Oh, I hate that one so much. I hate it. It's a bad episode of TNG.
There's got to be a better young kid than that. It's more annoying.
Okay, Dr.
Oh, Jacob, Cisco's kid.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh. Well, the one thing it doesn't have, by the way, I should say this, it adheres entirely just to the television stuff, except in the case of Nemesis, but it's a TNG movie. So all the movie tie-ins and all the television tie-ins are 100% original series, TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, even what was the Enterprise, and then the new stuff. There's nothing in there with like the new crew, like, you know, Chris, what's his name, and the different Spock and all those guys. Like the newer movies, they're not in there at all. So
like the J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, those people aren't.
Jar
There's
Jar
not like
Abrams.
two versions of Kirk. The only Kirk is original Kirk.
Nobody likes those new Star Trek movies.
By the way, do you want to? Oh, I love that. The most recent of the three is one of my
thought they were
favorites.
okay.
Freaking love that thing.
I mean, people like them, but I mean, they're not spoken of in those hallowed ways that other series are. Like gun to your head, you would say, yeah, I can live with excluding these from the annals of history. Like, you know, but you know, original DS9, Star Trek Next Generation, original series. You're like, no, these are great.
I think I'm the weird
you're
one.
Like,
I'm the.
You know, you were talking to the Watcher, and he's like, in the infinite span of timelines, we want to get rid of these J.J. Abrams films. Are you cool with that? You'd be like, okay, yeah.
Well, that explains why I love the third one the most, because the third one is not. No one ever thinks the third one's the best of those, but I think the third one is a badass, awesome.
No, I
thing.
think the third one's the best.
Yeah, it's the
Doesn't
Justin
the
Lin
third
one.
one
100%
have weird Klingons in it?
It had they had a
No,
glimpse
the
of weird
second one
Klingons.
has
There's a
weird
second one.
Klingons.
I can't abide by this weird reinterpreting of Klingons. Like, we got a great template for the Klingon. Why is Discovery has weird Klingons? Why? Like, Worf is perfect. He is beautiful. Like, that Klingon template is you can't make perfect any more perfect than
I can't.
this.
I don't like
Stop
how
it.
Sidian always says things better than my brain does. He says in the chat, he says the third one is a Star Trek movie. The first two are just space movies that happen to have Star Trek characters in them. That is 100% how I feel about those movies. Yeah. That third one is a legit Star Trek movie, which is why I think a lot of people were like, oh, I didn't like it as much as the first two, because what they got out of the first two was big, loud, blockbuster movie tropey things, and the third one was like, no, this is Star Trek going on here.
Yeah,
it was great.
And then the Beastie Boys
from the first. No, that was the first one, wasn't it? Or did they do that again?
That was the third one.
I think they're in all of them, actually.
Because the cat girl from the third one was like, she was into the music.
Oh, right. But they also did it in the first one when he was driving his dad's car and all that. And they had the Nokia, all that Nokia branding on everything. That pissed me off. Nokia and Star Trek. Freaking F off, you guys. That company doesn't even exist now. What a shit show. All right, anyway.
But, you know, he went on to do good things with the Star Wars franchise. So.
Yeah, really pulled that one out.
Yeah, really nailed that. Boy, we don't...
6 movies, and, you know, everyone was super happy with all 6 of them.
I like Super 8. I like the third Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie. It's also a J.J. Abrams joint. Like, I think J.J. Abrams he can do really cool work. I think being handed 2 of the world's biggest sci-fi franchises of all time, in the case of Star Wars, the biggest franchise of all time, I think is a mistake. I think it was too safe. I think they knew he would make a polished looking product, but in the end it would all be empty calories. And it bums me out. It bums me out.
Yeah. I think they are not great movies, but I think his first Star Trek was okay. Like, it's watchable, but like Bo said, you know, if you were saying like, okay, let's cross things out of time, it would be on the list.
First to go.
I think I think The Force Awakens is a very enjoyable, watchable movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it adds a lot to the Star Wars mythos, but I do enjoy having that movie on. It looks good. It sounds good. It's fine.
You shouldn't have said the SW word.
Don't feel that way.
I don't know, dude.
The third one.
We're just gonna get in trouble. I mean, in history, I've said this at the time, but I believe history is already showing that second one was the only one that dared to do anything different. And I know that's very controversial, but I like the second one of all three.
Stuff to like about the second one.
Yeah,
just you know,
I like
Luke as a putz, but that's about it.
Luke is a putz. But he drinks from the teat of an alien. Or no, he doesn't.
Like,
he puts
what
it
am I
in a
going to
bottle.
do? Face the whole army with a laser sword? Yes! That is what we want. We waited 1 billion years for you to take out a whole army with a laser sword. And like,
that's what he did.
Yeah.
The problem is
That's all
the
I'm gonna
third
say.
movie. The third movie didn't execute on it. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Can you imagine though a third movie that actually took the narrative that was being left there, which was the fact that you had a galaxy that was disenfranchised to the point where they wouldn't rise up, and then they heard the legend of Luke Skywalker going out and facing down an army by himself and coming out victorious, and then using that as a rally point to fight
Yeah.
against this new order. That would have been awesome.
It would have
just-
been.
It didn't happen. That's not the movie we got.
No, we got a
So
very different
that's
film. Yeah.
a shame.
We have a
I
mistake.
think I just watched too much Duel of the Fates.
Such great music for such a shit film. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, I know he likes the prequels, so I like to give him a little hell.
I
for
like
that.
the prequel. Everyone except Bo doesn't like the prequels.
Yeah, you love the prequels.
I think
you're a
I'm
fan.
biased though. Like I definitely had a really strong makeout session during one showing. I saw it 4
Oh.
times. That's probably why I'm really biased towards loving it, because I had a really great time watching.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never really brought that up, but all the times it offended. I feel like that's an important point that would help people to understand
Yeah.
why I'm crazy, I guess.
That's one of those
I don't
great.
know. That didn't do it for me. I made out with someone through almost the entirety of the movie Under Siege, and I don't have a whole lot of fondness for that movie.
Under Siege, the Steven
What the
Seagal
heck,
classic.
dude? Steve.
Wait, no, it wasn't that. It wasn't Steven Seagal. What was the movie?
Well, it was
Under
definitely.
Siege is the one where he's on the boat.
No,
and
it
fighting
wasn't
everyone
that.
On the
It
boat.
wasn't that. It was the one with Bruce Willis, and they declare martial law.
Oh, right after 9/11, it was controversial.
You made out in a
No, it
9/11
wasn't.
movie?
It wasn't 9/11.
No,
This
it was after
this would have
9/11.
been before that. No, this would have been before.
Hold on. Are you
what
sure?
the
I
heck
think
was
I know
it?
what you're
Yes.
talking about.
No, because I was in high school after 9/11, and this was in middle school.
Hold on, Bruce Willis. We're gonna find this.
Are you talking
Yeah.
about the Armageddon?
No, it's not Armageddon. Can't be Armageddon, right?
No, it wasn't.
Sorry, is he on a boat? Bruce Willis on a boat?
No, he's not on a boat. Steven Seagal was on a boat, but it wasn't that movie. I will find it. I will know it once I see it.
Okay.
And you thought of Under Siege, so
It's
is
not
it The
hostage, right? Not hostage.
is it the 1998's The Siege?
Is it 16
That's
block?
it. There you go. The Siege.
It's like I can't think of the movie.
The Siege.
It's
Oh.
not Under Siege. What could it be?
Oh, this
The
isn't what I
Siege.
thought it was. Okay, never mind. Yeah, this was. Oh no, you know what it was? It wasn't. This was after 9/11. It was how stupid this movie felt after 9/11. Because prior to 9/11, it was like, this is what terrorists would do in New York, and now it's like a cartoon compared to what they did in New York.
Well, I don't know anything about this movie because I was making out through the entire thing. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I watched one scene in the movie where we took a break.
You
and
were
then-
making out while they were destroying America, John.
Yeah, it's a
How
real
could you?
it's a real analogy for my life, honestly. And I watched one scene and my parents, we got to the end and they're like, well, what'd you think of the movie? And we'd only seen one scene. So it was the only scene we talked about. We're like, man, because I think somebody who's supposed to be good turns out to be bad. Like she's a double agent or something. I was like, I didn't see that twist coming. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And that was just all we would talk about because that was the only part of the movie we saw.
All right.
You know, Annette Bening was in. You guys see The Report?
Never saw The Report. She's also in Open Range, which is very good.
Yeah, she's really good in The Report.
All right.
That's a great movie.
I like it. Annette Bening's a great actress.
And that's about terrorism. Don't make out during that movie.
Yeah,
John.
don't make out in that. Don't make out in your terrorism
Why
movies.
am I getting judged for making out during a terrorism movie? Like, look, I was in
I
middle
think it's
school.
because I've watched
I would
Seinfeld,
have,
and
I would have made
Seinfeld-
out during any movie. It
In
doesn't matter.
Seinfeld, they give a lot of shit to Jerry. Like Jerry makes out during Schindler's List, and the whole Uncle Leo finds out, or something like that, or somebody.
Well, no,
sees-
what it was is-
Newman spots him, and
Yeah.
Newman tells
He told everybody, but
everybody, and
also
gets Jerry
he
in a
was
lot of
like
trouble.
they were like, how, what'd you think of Schindler's List? And Jerry was like, oh yeah, it was great with the list and the it was great.
That was me. Yes, I
Yes,
relate. I
that's what
relate
you
very
did.
much
It's like
to
you
that
made out during the
episode. Yeah.
siege. I'm like, how could you?
Yeah.
You monster.
I
I
love
don't
it.
think that was a bad movie to miss for making out.
No,
too.
I think you're all right. Denzel Washington's a national treasure, but you're fine. I wouldn't worry about it. All right. Well, Riot also in the news. We'll rip through this real quick. Riot disabled League of Legends /all chat to cut down on toxicity. And I would say to that, it's about effing time. Like now,
I mean, add this to the suite of things. The more popular versions of our favorite game, Heroes of the Storm, they finally do. Like Dodoy.
Yeah.
I just remember that being like an issue.
It was an issue. People were pissed because they wanted teams to. So for those uninitiated, /all meant you could talk shit to the other team that you were playing, and you could do it anytime during the game. And they basically said that. I'll sum it up. They basically said it was more toxic than not. So we're taking it out. And I don't know why it took them so long. It's always been more toxic than not. Are you kidding? Like from day one. It's been bad. Any
game, if you have a global chat channel, is the first thing I leave if given the option to leave a chat channel.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. Watching people play New World is infuriating because their stupid chat takes up like the whole left side of the screen. Like anyone in an MMO is ever going to say anything important. They're like, oh, it better be big so everybody can see it. And it's like, I hate it.
Who does that? Is it big chat? In
New World. It's New World.
It takes up like the whole left side of the screen. It's like they allocated the...
It's
you know how when
weird.
you drag a window in Windows to the far left and it perfectly divides it on the side of the screen.
Yeah.
It's like they did that with their chat box.
Yeah, it's
you can't
really
resize
weird.
it or anything?
No,
Like,
you
it's
cannot resize. You can change font size overall, but kind of change your UI, shrink it or enlarge it. But it still takes up this enormous portion of the screen. It's really weird. I don't know why.
I'm
It's
surprised we
there.
haven't heard about that because I would think that'd be a big complaint having your view filled with text.
Well, if you turn it all, you can leave all the groups entirely, like all the public channels and everything, and then you just never see it. But it's pretty stupid.
But if you're seeing it, you're really going to get involved.
Yeah.
It's not like in the bottom corner.
Kind of hit a
most
wall in that
games.
game. I don't think I'm done with it, but I hit a bit of a wall. I got to a place where it was like, oh, I'm gonna have to cut down a lot more trees before I get anywhere. Like, I don't know. It just felt like I hit kind of a wall at about.
I hit a wall too. It was I played it.
You were 30 seconds in and you hit that wall.
Yep, I gave it an hour and I was like, oof.
Yeah, I've noticed that
Crafting games are for a certain kind of audience.
For sure, and I noticed there's not a ton. Like the first week, my friends list was just packed with people in there, and now I'm lucky to see one or two of my friends in there. So I don't know what that means. I'm not trying to spell doom for anything, but I think maybe the honeymoon might be over, and people will stay, and it'll grow, and it'll be whatever it's going to be. But we're past the big freak out at the moment.
Yeah, I think this will be a quick sizzle, quick flash.
Yeah, probably a bit of that. You know who would really benefit right now? The whole wow, is it a weird place? And everyone's looking for something new to do. If Riot's MMO was done, it'd be a very different world right now.
Yeah, I mean it's the state of gaming right now. Like, there's a ton of content creators looking for the latest thing to hype things people about. I don't know if it's almost somewhat biases against games being successful. To be perfectly honest with you. Everything gets boring once it's released. You know what? I don't know. I don't know if I'm overthinking it, but in this culture of what's the hottest new thing? If everyone's overloaded on it in terms of streams, videos, YouTube stuff, I think we burn through it quicker. I think this notion that we're going to land on something that's it'll keep us engaged for years to come is it's not happening. I think we are in such a whatever happened in the last minute is cool and everything else is old news.
Yeah, it happens in two cases.
State of affairs.
In a modern sense, two cases have figured it out. It's Fortnite and Roblox, and those are all mostly aimed at younger audiences, and those younger audiences get obsessed with their thing and they stick around for a long time. Minecraft perhaps before that, but I agree with you. I think the day may be gone where even when Diablo 4 comes out, a lot of anticipation for that game. That could bring a lot of Blizzard people back. I don't know. But when that happens, it's going to be massive for a while.
Yeah.
And then not.
Someone's going to hit max level in 2 days, and then everything's going to be on farm within a week.
Yeah.
And what's there going to be to talk about? What's exciting? There'll be some hardcore people who just love it, but for the most part, all the big name celebrity streamers we've validated are going to be looking for, that's old news, and everyone's going to be like, yeah, that's right. He said it was old news, so let's move on.
Yeah.
And, it just seems to be a cycle that's repeating itself over and over and over again. It's really diminishing in enjoyment of video games. Because, like we say here, if it's your first time playing it, the game's been out for a year. Who cares how long the game's been out? Chess has been out thousands of years. But if it's your first day really appreciating and playing it, then, great. That's awesome.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with a little chess.
I don't know.
Here and there. All right. Well, this is all the news the world meant for us to hear. So now we have to turn our attention to a Dear Martha Steam review. Yes, that's right. Told in the 1830s voice of one John Jagger, who will give us a review for Cookie Cutter recently and for the first time. Oh, no?
Nope.
Wait,
Try
what?
different name.
Oh,
Did I
Cookie
write
Clicker.
Cutter?
Sorry, Clicker. Shit. I knew that.
Okay.
The reason I said it, well, I won't get into it. I played it because, anyway, doesn't matter. The point is,
What's going on over there?
first time I hesitate. There's a thing I was going to say, but I'm not going to say it. It'll take us another half an hour to discuss what I was going to bring up. But I did want to say that game's on Steam for the first time. Like, it seems weird to say that. It was always just a browser thing and a phone thing. Now it's on Steam. So
Cookie Clicker, you're talking about.
Cookie Clicker, yeah, not Cookie Cutter. Which there's a million Cookie Clicker Cutter games. Does that make sense? They've all copied it.
Cookie Cutter, Cookie Clicker games, you mean? I think
Cookie Clicker games.
Yeah,
no,
Cookie Clicker.
Cookie Cutter, Cookie Clicker games.
There you
Cookie
go.
Cutter, Cookie Clicker
Because
games.
there's games that have copied it and done their own thing, but now finally they're where they should have probably been the whole time. Anyway,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying Cookie Cutter, Cookie Clicker games.
yes, that's what I was
I
trying to
got
say. You guys said it better than me.
Cat Cookie Cutter, Cookie Clicker games.
Let's hear what they have to say, or what the reviewer has to say in this little segment, which I can't find your music. Hold on a second. What did I do? Oh, no. Oh, I moved it. All right, here it is.
I'll do it.
Okay, here you go.
My dearest Martha, I present to you now my review for the game Cookie Clicker on Steam. Martha, chocolate chip cookies recipe. Ingredients: 120 grams butter, softened. 75
Jeez.
grams light brown sugar. 75 grams golden castor sugar. 1 medium egg. 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. 180 grams plain flour. A half a teaspoon bicarbonate of soda. 150 grams dark chocolate cut into chunks. Step 1. Heat oven to 180 Celsius. Fan/gas 4 and line 2 baking sheets with parchment. Cream the butter and sugars together until very light and fluffy. Then beat in the egg and vanilla. Once combined, stir in the flour, bicarb, chocolate, and 1/4 teaspoon salt. Step 2. Scoop 10 large tablespoons of the mixture onto the trays, leaving enough space between each to allow for spreading. Bake for 10 to 12 minutes, or until firm at the edges, but still soft in the middle. They will harden a little as they cool. Leave to cool on the tray for a few mins before eating warm, or transfer to a wire rack to cool completely. Will keep for 3 days in an airtight container. Yours in this life and the next, Stranger, 1982.
That's great. That's great. I'd like to
I
eat.
was waiting for a punchline.
No, I was I figured it was just a straight up recipe.
The punchline is it's a cookie recipe.
Yeah. I got this girl who I recorded. Where did I put that? She basically sings the ingredients to pancakes. It's amazing. I'll only play a little of it here. Where is it? Oh shit. Hold on. Pancakes. Here it is. It's just a taste.
3.5 teaspoons baking powder, 1.5 cups all-purpose flour.
Anyway, it goes on like that. That's
I
great.
don't like the way she said powder.
No, I don't like the
Baking powder.
She's German, so I think that's her accent coming through. I could be
okay.
wrong.
Well,
This is a left.
You'll let that one go.
situation.
Did you guys hear that?
it was
Did you hear
fine, I guess.
Shatner today? His reaction from being in space. Let me play that for you. Hold on. This is great.
Oh, Jesus. No description can equal this weightlessness. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm telling you.
I feel like I'm having sex with him.
My goodness me. Oh, wow. I can't believe this.
Yeah, that's
You
him.
like that, Bill?
Man, now Bo said it, and that's all I could imagine.
Hey,
It
let's
was a
start
real
that again.
Sweet moment.
Let's start
and you
that
really
again.
ruined it.
All right.
Start that again, Scott.
All
How
right.
does that feel?
Just
Bill?
picture a naked
Oh,
Shatner.
Jesus.
Do you? How about this?
Oh,
do you like
Jesus.
it when I do this?
No description can equal this? Wait.
I'm glad you like it, Bill. Is there anything else I can
Oh,
do for you?
Jesus. No. Oh, wow.
There's a new Twitch category, Bill Shatner improv.
He was really into it. He's 90 and he's in space, and I think that's awesome. But they had a mic on him, and I think that stuff is great.
I mean, it's probably better than sex to be up in space, if I had to guess. Like, just
That's usually the thing I put on the
pretty
morning
amazing.
stream first, but we got it exclusive here on Core. So congratulations, everybody, for listening. And
that's
getting it
actually, it's
early.
pretty impressive how erotic that sounds, though. Like, it's.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Did
no.
you do that on purpose when you're collecting the clips?
I mean, not
I
always.
mean, I had this problem recently. I was watching Bob Ross, and I don't remember if it was my wife or me, and I said, man, if you're not watching what he's doing, it sounds really erotic, and it sounds wrong.
Yeah.
And it ruined that for me, too. Uh-oh, everybody froze.
Oh, are you frozen? I see you.
I'm good. You guys are all clear for
Everyone
me.
looks good to me.
Okay,
John,
it
you
must
good?
have been me then.
All right,
Well,
then.
hi.
Definitely you.
You got a little too intense.
I thought about Bob Ross and made it erotic, and everything froze.
Everything's ruined when you make
I mean, you
Bob
can do
Ross
that
erotic.
with a lot of things, right? But it's pretty easy to do in Bill Shatner's case.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's see if we agree on any of this. The games we played this week. So I was in the mood for all sorts of stuff. So I kind of went places. I've had Everspace 2 in my library for a while. I got in very early on their early access. It's still in early access on Steam. But man, has that thing come a long way since they first put it out there. Everspace 1 was this really cool kind of roguelike thing, space shooter thing that was like FTL meets I don't even know what to compare it to, but it used the Unreal
FTL
Engine.
meets?
It's like FTL, but it was like, you know, full 3D space thing. But you also did other stuff that wasn't like FTL. It was a hard game to describe, and I really liked it. It was pretty cool for this little startup that they made this game. Everspace 2 got announced. I'm like, oh well, there'll be more of that, I guess. No, man, they're making like full on like freelancer like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that they're going way
so
further.
it's more
with it.
open world kind of thing?
Oh yeah, way more. And there's a story and stuff, and I don't know what there is in terms of like sandbox toward the end of the game, but you know, right now it's like story missions and going to a place and finding stuff, but lots of little side junk to find, going to other planets. But it is open world in the sense that here's a bunch of places in the galaxy, you need to warp to them, do the work for us, find the thing, kill the dude, have the dogfight, whatever. Very freelancer, very Wing Commander, you know, ish type stuff so far. And while the story is fine and serviceable and acting's all fine, it's not, you know, anything to write home about. Where it really gets me is visuals and gameplay. And the game is not trying to be, it's really important to say this, it is not trying to be a sim. This isn't trying to be the next, I don't know, Star Citizen or something. That's not their goal. The game controls very simply. The ship is very maneuverable. Kind of think Star Wars and not the Expanse. Does that make sense? Like more dynamic.
It's not a simulator.
Not at all.
It's a fun ass shooter.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
fun
that
ass
makes
shooter.
me interested because the thing I didn't care for Everspace 1 was it kind of felt like you said, like a run-based game. It was like, all right, get in and go there, and it was missing that sense of like, you know, exploration and you
bigger
know,
purpose,
going places. Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed a lot of that. It felt like I loaded up an arcade game that's in space.
Yeah,
you know?
and a good one, but one that maybe was missing something. And its presentation exceeded its goals. Like it looked incredible, that first game, but it never felt like what you did equaled the look of it. This seems much more in line with like equaling the look of it. It's still beautiful, but you're landing at space stations and buying replacement shit and selling a bunch of stuff you got, and you got a base with some other characters that you're building and stuff, and you got perks and stuff that you're unlocking to give you better shields or better this, better that. Upgrade your weapons all the time. Find weird loot in a weird place, kind of Diablo style. You find it in this, you know, embedded in the side of a I don't know, an asteroid or something, and now you got a better railgun or whatever. Like it's that kind of stuff. And then also this bigger, broader story that's very freelancer-ish. I think that game's really shaping up. It's close to 1.0. At least I think it is. They haven't. I don't know what their what do you call it? Their timeline or their what do you call that when a game
Roadmap.
roadmap. I'm not sure where the roadmap has the actual final release. It feels like it could be this year. But just really sharp, really cool. I think that game's cool. So I played a whole bunch of that. That was really what I was in the mood for, and it was scratching all kinds of itches. I also played Back 4 Blood, a bit of it. I only have some quick thoughts on this because I only played through the first area and then got busy. It is Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood. Like it is, they are harnessing what you all want. If you want, okay, let me put it this way. If you want Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood is like a modern that. And by modern, I mean it looks great, brand new engine, beautiful frame rates, looks like a new game. But it's you shooting zombies and getting ammo along the way and finding better guns at the next safe house, and got 4 people with you, and either people or bots, and they're talking the whole time, and they even say, I'm reloading over here and shit like that.
Oh, great.
It is. Now I'm not saying that's bad. Question, yeah, go ahead.
Does this dethrone the awesomeness that is Vermintide 2 in your mind? From an experiential standpoint, because there's a different feel, even though they're the same genre of game, right?
Right. Well, because there's so much melee happening and stuff in the other one, it's hard to compare them.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was just wondering. I'm wondering, I guess, how much of a modern sensibility have they put on things, or is it really just new levels for Left 4 Dead? It
feels like gameplay wise, like moment to moment, very Left 4 Dead. They're specialized zombies. One's fat and explodes. One's, they call it a tall boy. But basically, it's a really tall zombie with a giant arm that can pick you up and not let you go until your friends shoot him down or whatever. A little bit like the tongue guy, not quite. There's the little ninja-looking one that's really hard to shoot. I forgot what he's called. So there's a lot of similarities, and there's some of their own little differences. The big difference here is at the beginning of every run or every safe house, when you leave, you choose from a bunch of cards. I think they're random. But like Hearthstone style, like 6 cards will pop up, and there'll be perks for that run. And so you can say, oh, well, this is going to give me plus 25 to crit, or that card's, the stuff you're used to in games. Like this card's going to give me more health, or I don't know.
Okay.
That
is it your own
sounds like
deck?
A cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like not a great execution. Because I was like, oh, how's it going to change the game? And as soon as it gets into the realm of, you do more crit damage, I'm like, ugh.
I know, it seems boring on that level. There are ways to sort of build yourself, do builds and things, and people are already kind of min-maxing that to whatever degree. You can find a lot of that stuff on Reddit. But some people, Kyle and Garrett in particular, really like it. Like, really, really digging on it. I like it, but I really did feel like I was just playing Left 4 Dead again. Like, I really didn't feel... It felt like up-resed, way better textures, way better animation, better lighting, like a modern Left 4 Dead, but with those tweaks that I mentioned.
Which we need, because Left 4 Dead 2 is extremely old.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like it, but when was that game released? Like
2008, 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's old. It's pretty old.
It's time to, it's time for a new one of those.
The nice thing, too, is it's on Game Pass, so it's like, if you have Game Pass, there's no reason not to try it. I don't know if I would jump on this as a full-price product had it not been for the Game Pass release. Just because, again, I'm not feeling anything in it that's like, oh, this is a million miles better than Left 4 Dead ever was. It just feels like people are hungry for a game like this. Vermintide may not be their jam because it's set in a world that they don't like, or I don't know. And they want more zombie killing, and they want to do it with friends. This is definitely that. And it's fun, and it plays well. Like, the shooting's good. All of that stuff is good. It's a very competent one of these. Honestly, as I was playing it, I was going, I kind of wish that Aliens Fire Team, or whatever the hell it's called, I kind of wish that was on here. Because that is just interesting because you're in alien land, like.
Yeah, I think it's just an aesthetic thing. Like, I'm not a big zombie guy. That's why I like Vermintide. That's sort of, and for some few other reasons, Salt Spire being one of them. But
yeah,
I was just wondering because Left 4 Dead series is very much like shooting a lot of bullets.
Yeah.
And it's that zombies and just not my favorite. So Alien World seems, more up my alley.
And this is Turtle Rock again. Or these are the guys that made Evolved, I think.
I thought they were the Left 4 Dead guys moved on to their own company and that they just made Back 4 Blood. Like they're basically making Left 4 Dead 3, but they can't use the Left 4 Dead.
I agree with that.
This is basically Left 4 Dead 3 as far as I.
The other thing that's missing for me, I don't know if you guys have feel this way, but in Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, the characterization of the characters, even though it's not that important throughout the game because nobody has an advantage over anyone else. They're not classes, but those characters like Reloading and Bill and all those guys. I love Zoe. All of those characters are great. Coach in the newer one, and who else is in there? Anyway, all those guys.
I like the guy who tells them pretend the helicopter up top is made out of chocolate.
Yeah, that guy's great. But they have I love those intros for those two games for this reason. I immediately know their characters. I know exactly where they've come from and where they're going and why they are who they are and why and what their personalities even are. I can just tell by looking at them. I know Bill's a grizzled old vet from Vietnam. I know that Francis is a biker dickhead. Like I don't know if they're stereotypes, but they're just really well presented in those intros. And it's part of what I loved about those games. This game has a similar intro, but I don't give a shit about anybody. None of them are interesting. They're just all very like, oh, okay, that lady's fine. That guy seems okay. Like there's none of that weird like you look at them and you world build below the surface and you kind of know these stories. I don't feel that way with this.
I saw the art for these characters, and I actually thought in the case of one of them that they had like just stolen and photoshopped over John Goodman from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, maybe.
Like looking at it, just pulling up the main screen.
They should have licensed The Big Lebowski. Now that you mention it, they should just make it all the characters from Big Lebowski in a Left 4 Dead game.
I'd be way into it. You got that guy, and then you've got John Krasinski from the movie Where You Can't Talk.
Quiet Place. Yeah.
I just feel like you got the two of them right there, and like it's just we just took those characters and put them in the game. That's not to say they couldn't be interesting, but it reminds me of when Resident Evil did their online experiment with the Resident Evil game, and all the characters in that game looked like Hollywood stars so much that they had to change it because it had like Julia Roberts and Tom Cruise and all of that. And Brad Pitt was in it.
Guy? Hoffman does kind of look like John Goodman.
Hoffman.
Yeah, he's doing literally the pose from Big Lebowski when he like on the art for it when he like pulls out the gun at the bowling alley.
Yeah, he's got shades of a John Goodman style character a little bit.
It feels like it was stolen directly from it, and they were like,
"Well,
let's give him Bubbles glasses, and he'll be fine."
Sure, but like, do you guys remember like that second game? The guy stealing money he's wearing like a dirty suit, and he's stealing money out of the what do you call that when you're at a store? It's called the machine
vending machine.
Nope, it's where you give them the money and the lady goes, "Here's
the
change."
ATM machine.
It's a till. Okay, a till.
Cash register.
Cash register. Holy shit, that's it. Thank you.
Wow, I haven't seen one of those in a while, eh? Thanks.
It's been a while, COVID.
Yeah.
But they when he's sitting there kind of leaning on his shoulder while there's a little less zombie stuff happening and he's counting through money he took out of there and sticks a little in his pocket, I go, I know that guy. He's the a-hole in this. He's going to get people killed. He's the worst kind of guy in a zombie apocalypse. Like, I got all of this great story about this character. I've only seen him for 5 seconds. I think those first two intros of those two old games are almost magical in that way. They're really great. This doesn't know how to do it. Nobody's unique. Everybody's generic. They all look like extras from the set of, I don't know, Walking
Generic,
Dead.
You say? What about the character called Mom?
I don't know who Mom is.
There's a character called Mom, and I'm looking up the characters. Like, one of them's Mom. She looks like Carol from The Walking Dead, I guess.
There are unlockable characters. That's the other thing. There aren't just 4 to choose from like Left 4 Dead games. There's unlockables, so you can be a more diverse group later if you want.
You can be Mom.
Yeah, there's probably Mom. But she's not in the intro. They don't do any of that. It's just the 4 you get to choose.
Oh, maybe she's an unlockable. I'm just looking at the full list of cast, and one of them's called Mom.
Do they have a Norman Reedus?
And there's one called Doc. There's a woman called Doc.
Then somebody named Reed Us. No.
Oh, and is the Jim Krasinski guy? His name is Jim.
I don't know.
There's a character called Jim in the game.
Oh my lord, really? That's pretty on the nose, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It's
Maybe
fine.
whatever. Maybe you just need a bit more time with it, and then you get
It plays
into
great.
the characters.
It
or
plays
something.
great.
I don't know.
Listen,
I can't really comment. I didn't play it.
If your goal is to go in there and shoot zombies and have fun with the co-op and the whatever, it's that. It's great. That stuff's really it's super competent. I'm not saying anything bad about the gameplay, but just know it's going to feel a lot like Left 4 Dead in the gameplay. I just think you could do more with these characters. It felt like this trailer was made in like, I don't know. They handed it over some Chinese developer who doesn't know who these characters are. That's how that felt. It's weird, but it's good. It's as a game to shoot with. It's a fun game to shoot with.
reloading,
right? Damn it, Bill. I mean, I love the original cast of those games is so great, and they never wore on me, and they never annoyed me. To me, it was game magic. They pulled that off. I love that.
I wanted to play that game again not too long ago, and I reinstalled it, and I didn't realize that even though it was a different PC and so much time had passed, that it would reinstall with all the mods that I had downloaded for it.
Oh, yeah.
So I started the game and discovered that all the characters had been replaced with Tyrannosaurus Rexes. And that it wouldn't stop playing the Cowboy Bebop theme through the entire thing.
Well, then, so what's the problem? This sounds great. Play that.
No, it was great. It was just but I was surprised. I was caught off guard. But apparently, however many years between when I last played and then, those were the mods that was important to have.
Okay, I just saw something in the chat that I've not heard until today. Hans Sanitizer in the chat says, Norman Reedus and the Traveling Fetus. That's that other game where he walks around with a baby. What's it called? The
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding. I've never heard anyone say Norman Reedus and the Traveling Fetus. That's incredible. That should be today's
That would be
title.
the name. That's the name of his band in that, because that game is about how he's a band leader and he gets on stage with a fetus.
The
And
Traveling Fetus. Is that real? I never
the
played the
fetus
game.
plays synthesizer.
No. What? You're making that up. It wouldn't surprise me because, Kojima's
guitar.
weird. He makes weird games. All right, anyway, that's
I
Back
don't
4
know.
Blood.
I've been thinking about buying the director's cut.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just seems like an event in gaming. I should probably check
Now
it
that
out
he
at
can
some point.
finally cut loose and he's not constrained by his own company that he owns.
Yeah, there you have it.
Society is broken down.
They should put it on Game Pass just to piss off Sony because it was a Sony exclusive for a while. It's not now, but was then. I also played Saints Row 4, don't ask. And
Wait, I want to ask, why'd you play Saints Row 4?
I got in a mood.
Isn't it great?
I played Saints Row 3 a bunch, and then I thought, you know what? I never really gave 4 a chance. I think I let people talk me out of it because they said, oh, you run around mostly now. You're a superhero. You basically don't need cars anymore. And I'm like, man, you don't take a GTA-like and eliminate cars from the equation. So I think I gave it short shrift back in 2013 or whatever it was. And picked it up again this week, and played a ton of it, and it's great. Saints Row 4 is great. It's ridiculous. It's over the top.
Its
Is that the
opening
one with the
is
wheelchair
so good.
gun?
That's an amazing opening, and it still looks pretty good. It's an early PS4 looking type game, like the crossover generation of games, and it still looks fine on PC. Nice high res, fast frame rate, looks great.
Climbing a nuclear warhead to manually disable it while don't want to miss a thing plays
Yeah,
is a fantastic moment.
It's pretty
And you're the
special.
president. Also.
yeah, and you're the president, and I'm blue. I look like a blue man because that's what I did for the character creation, and I'm wearing a bikini and a bra top. And for a while, I ran around naked. Like, the game's ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous, and I kind of needed. I just was in the mood for open world dumb, and that game gives it to you. So I played a bunch of that, and also the shooting in 4 is a lot better than 3. And 3's great, but 3 had shit.
And now
shooting.
you can enjoy it while it lasts because the new Saints Row is going to be super serial.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, it doesn't look like it'll be serious, but it looks like it'll be. Well, the trailer makes it seem ridiculous. Like, it doesn't. It seems like they're sticking to that, but they are rebooting, right? This is like a whole new.
It
I
seems
thought I heard that they were
ridiculous in a different
rebooting.
way.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Watch that
They
trailer.
were going
It's
for a more serious tune
because that trailer was goofy, like straight up.
I don't know. It seemed okay. Here's the best way I think I can describe how I interpreted that trailer.
Yeah,
It's like the Fast and Furious movies now.
maybe a little.
It's not. It's not like the zany, crazy, like over the top parody. It's still zany and crazy, but in the we swung across a canyon on a rope bridge in a car way.
Yeah, and then some snarky snark in between, and maybe you're right. It doesn't. I don't get the sense that they're going for anything serious, but it does seem like they're maybe pulling back a little bit from just the ridiculous, like almost too much. You know, whatever that was in 4 and 3
you're
for
not
that
playing
matter.
as a toilet or anything.
Right.
Like that.
I don't know if Keith David will be in it or not, but that would be great because he's great in 4. Anyway, playing that, I needed a good open world game, and that kind of suited me. I was going to play what's the Microsoft game that didn't live up to the hype?
I know what you're talking about. That was tangentially connected to it.
Shit. No, not that. Not the Get Out of Hell one. I'm thinking of the Microsoft one. Crackdown 3. That's what I'm thinking of. I installed Crackdown 3 because I just wanted a big, dumb, open world, dumb thing. And that game is one of those. But it's still locked at 30 frames on the Series X. What the hell is that about? And the PC, by the way. It's locked on both. So
that's weird.
Fix that. That's stupid. But once they fix that, I might play that because it looks like a dumb, fun time. I just want to shoot shit and unlock things. That's what I feel like doing right now. So that's why I played Saints Row 4.
There is a great game that came out this week.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
What's that? What game was that? Oh, wait, don't do that yet.
I don't know.
I played Rogue. Hold on.
We promised to talk about it at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, we did.
Two of us played.
Soon.
I just wanted to say I played Rogue Book, and it's fine. Okay, that's all I had to say about that. It's
that's
fine.
Right. Yeah, it's fine compared to Tainted Grail and Griftlands and all the other ones like it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
All the millions of ones that are just like each other. It's fine. It's all right.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right, let's get to the chicken on the wheel. No, the elephant in the room. That's what I meant to say. Metroid Dread. John and Bo both played it. Let's just rip this right open. I didn't get it yet because I don't know why. I just haven't. I'm gonna.
I mean, it's the biggest, most exciting thing, news or otherwise related, that happened in gaming, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Whoa! All right, look at that.
Week. And I think a lot of people are. It's a much beloved franchise.
Yeah.
It's been 19 years or a really long time since the Super Nintendo one.
Well, it's been yeah.
It went first person for the longest time, and it was only available. So
there were GBA games, but yeah,
this is a big release.
Sure. Yeah. So John, you played, and Bo, you played. I guess I want to hear both of your takes. John, what'd you think? What do you like about it, or do you?
I think it's really good. I think I want to make a very clear statement up front that I really like Metroid Dread. So no matter what I say, no matter how you interpret what I say, just come back to the point of really like Metroid Dread.
Fair enough.
I think it has some problems. So.
All right. Do you want to itemize those problems, or how do you want to?
Yeah, I will. Let me go down the problems, and then I'll say the things that it does well. The problem is, okay, the Metroid games are phenomenal. I really, really, really love the series, and this is a really good one of those games. I was a lot of people I heard don't like the Emmys, the big monster that kind of chases you in this. There's a bunch of them, but like
right.
It's kind of a thing that has become a divisive point for this game because it's sort of like having a mini Mr. X in the game for certain sections where here's the thing you can't fight, and it's going to chase you and try and hunt you down, and all you can really do is run away from it.
Ooh.
And
see, this is why I think I've hesitated. I think I've hesitated even subconsciously because I don't like the Mr. X mechanic at all.
So they do some good things with it. You know when you're going into an area that has them. You know how to get out of the areas that have them.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to deal with them at the moment, you can avoid them. You do eventually, pretty quickly, honestly. Like, you encounter them, and then you fairly quickly after you encounter them, get the item to kill them. And there's, I think, 7 of them or 6 of them, something like that. And so they don't stick around too long, but I think the game's biggest problem is that it does not do a very good job of telling you where to go. So one of the things that I really loved about Metroid Fusion was Metroid Fusion had a similar sort of mechanic storyline. Like, you were being pursued by a thing called the SAX. And it basically was an evil Samus that was hunting you down. And what made Metroid Fusion so cool was that they did a very clear, like, here's where you are, here's where you have to go. And here's where you're going to have to get through to get there. And you're going to be hunted, through this whole thing, and you're going to have things you have to overcome. This game is just sort of like, it gives you the impression you're exploring, but you're really not. You're actually very limited on where you can go for the first half of the game. Like, you're actually being kind of railroaded, but the game's doing a decent job of making you not feel like you're being railroaded. And the problem with it obscuring where to go is it makes the Emmy problem worse. Like, you'd probably have to go through their zone maybe once or twice before you could fight them and deal with them. But then, because you're lost and you don't know where to go in the game, you end up going through some of their sections. Like, there was one where I was running from the Emmy like 7 or 8 times because I just kept going back going, where the hell am I supposed to go in this game right now? And I've gotten extremely lost 3 times. And all 3 times, the solution was there was a breakable wall that I didn't know was breakable that I just had to shoot, and then I could proceed, and it would have been fine. So there's some of that which I don't love. I don't think that makes for a very fun mechanic where it's just like, oh, you should have just known that you could break this wall, or you should have been running around testing it to see if you could. And I think that makes the Emmy problem worse. Like, if you don't like dealing with them, the fact that you might have to go into their rooms multiple times for no reason makes it a bigger problem than it otherwise would be. So I wish that the game was a little more open for exploration. The game does open up about halfway through, it feels like. I haven't beaten the game, but I'm getting there. I think I've got a couple more upgrades to get. I just got the gravity suit, which I believe is the last suit. So about halfway through, the game opens up. It actually does let you explore, and you have enough items to where you can actually explore, and it kind of stops forcing you down a linear path and lets you go on a collection spree if you want, and kind of play the game the way I wanted to play it from the get-go. But that's a really long way in, and you've unlocked a lot of the map by that time, and the idea of going back through the game at that point, it was a little more daunting than if I felt like I had been exploring along the way. So I think those things are little nitpicks that bug me about the game. Overall, though, it's really fun. I mean, honestly, I think it's hard to make a bad Metroid game, but it's super fun. Oh, I don't love the control scheme either. I talked to somebody who's playing with the Pro controller, and he said he had no issues with it and thought it was fine, but playing it on the Switch Lite, my hands are constantly hurting because the amount of times where it's like you're pressing and holding multiple buttons to do something, it is frequent. So there'll be times where it's like hold R and L and then aim with the stick and then press Y to shoot, and it's like, oh my gosh, and you have tight windows where you have to do some of these things. So I don't know if they could have made it better, but it certainly feels like the controls could have been better. But apparently, depending on how you're playing it, that may not be an issue for you. But I haven't been able to put it down. You know, I've put a lot of hours into it, and I think it's really good. I was playing it right before the show, and just got to a new area and was very excited about it. So I think it is, and it looks great. It sounds great. It's got the creepiness factor that a lot of Metroid games have, and it's the series that feels the least Nintendo of Nintendo series.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah. I've always felt that way. And I've always wondered if that's why they're so infrequent, because Nintendo doesn't even like making them, but people love them. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. I mean, there's
more Metroid coming in the future as well. There's gonna be more primes. So.
You didn't like Other M, right? Did you play that?
No, Other M, I did not enjoy. I tried it. Actually, you know what? I just realized I said it's hard to make a bad Metroid game. Yeah. Nope, there was one, and that was the one I didn't like. Other than that, I think I've liked every main game in the series. You know, they've done some weird offshoots here and there, but I do like the Prime series, and I do like the mainline Metroid games. I think probably Fusion is the best Metroid game I've played, that or Super Metroid, but
Yeah.
those two are really, really good.
Can Fusion be found anywhere?
I don't know. I had somebody on Twitter when I mentioned that I was so glad that this was a direct sequel to Fusion and carries on that story. They said you would think Nintendo would have given us an easy way to play it on the Switch,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of shocked they didn't, because it's 100% connected to that story. They talk about the SAX. They show you a cutscene. You get to see the evil Samus and all of that business. Like, it is a direct sequel to that game, and I would be surprised that there's no way to play it on the Switch.
Yeah, that kind of bums me out. I wouldn't mind going back. I remember really liking Fusion as well back in the day. Bo, since we're already on the topic, anything you would add or?
Well, this game is really great.
Yeah.
it's like pretty much aces in almost every category. I think the thing. There's some people tweeting, or there's discussions in the online space about what an $80 game should look like. Like, there are these Uncharted games, with all these crazy effects, and you got this side-scrolling game that's kind of like lame in comparison, just in terms of the epicosity, I suppose, of it.
Yeah.
And some of it reflective in John comments too, because one of the things that they've made a firm decision on this 2D business is that Metroid is a genre game, in the sense that it's not designed to be played once.
Yeah.
It's like, even with the unlockables, it's designed to be played over and over again and to improve your clear time. Like, there is a hard mode. Like, I finished it. There's a hard mode, and then there are unlockables based on, I believe, the amount of time it takes you to clear it. So the idea is everything's supposed to be hard. You learn to play it better, and then you replay it. Now, that's not going to be what everyone wants to do with a game like this, but they're going to have put down full price for this game and get the experience they're getting and not be fully satisfied with it.
Right.
And I think, like, that is sort of an issue with the game. It's not really they're not going to market it as a genre game because they want to get all the sales they can get off a Nintendo hype game. But it really, this really does lean into the speedrun, like, catnip for the speedrun community, to the point that, like, as you were mentioning, I felt early on there was a linearity to levels as well. Like, I'm railroaded, but that's in fact not the case. There's a bunch of people who are sequence breaking the game, and it's intended by the developers in that you can get upgrades early before you're supposed to. There's like ways of finding out how to do that, and it's programmed into the game because the Kraid boss, he's a boss. You have to learn his patterns and kill him, but there's a one-shot kill if you have the morph ball earlier than you're supposed to get. If you get the morph ball early and bring it to the Kraid fight, once you get to the belly button battle, Scott, you're going to love the belly button battle. You can transform into a morph ball, fire the morph ball inside his belly button, and just destroy him from the inside out, and then just win the fight.
Wow.
So, like, the game, it's like, first time going through it, I'm like, really? Like, I felt really linear. And then I'm like watching these sequence break videos, and they're not like, oh, we broke the game. The people who made the game put these secrets in there intentionally for people to figure out how to better complete the labyrinth and thus complete the speed run quicker. So it's like, that's what's sort of unclear about this. You buy this game thinking, okay, this is a campaign, a story of Metroid, and I'm going to be an adventurer and go the way through. It's actually, this game's, I think they tried to serve many masters. I don't think they served the master of, let's give you this fun campaign. Because I would say, I think some of the levels don't last long enough. Like, I got some upgrades, and then there was barely... I expect to get an upgrade, and I expect to get some challenges and puzzles to do. And it felt like towards the end, as the upgrades got faster and quicker, there wasn't a lot of, like, oh, I got the power bomb. Now here's some power bomb enemies and puzzles to use with it. It's like, nope, it just unlocks some stuff throughout the map. Yeah. Really, I'm close to the end of the game at this point. Whatever, like,
right? Or you get the double jump, and it's like, oh, am I going to use the double jump for anything interesting? No, there's going to be 2 rooms that suck that require the double jump to get through, and then you're not going to worry about it till you get the constant, like, jump, and then it becomes interesting again.
So it's not gonna cater to, like, the sense of, I got an upgrade, now I get some adventurous part of it. This is a labyrinth, and your goal is to complete the labyrinth faster and faster, and it's meant to be replayed. Yeah. So if you just play the campaign, that's fine. But I think the review is gonna sound like that. Like, it's gonna be like, wow, it's fun, it's really good, but, like, there's stuff that's unsatisfying. But then you sort of see, well, no, this game is this game is designed for people to challenge themselves to go faster and faster, and so it's hard to grok that way, right?
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I think the Kraid thing sounds awesome. I think rather than catering to specifically a speedrunner, I wish that the game was more open and that would be a secret that anybody could discover rather than having to, break something or, employ speedrunning tactics in order to do it.
Yeah.
Because that stuff is cool, but that's what I associate with Metroid is like exploration, and yeah, speed eventually becomes important, but it never really felt exploratory to me. It was like I felt like I was trying to explore, and then it was like, oh, sorry, there's a tiny ledge and you can't become a morph ball yet, so you can't get through here. And it's like,
no, it's pretty linear, and I would throw that at the feet of the dread mechanic. Like those dread areas take up a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
And like whether trial and error is your cup of tea is that's going to vary, right? Like,
Sure.
trying this one area with the Mr. X mechanic 10 times for some is going to be like, okay. And some people are going to enjoy it. I enjoyed the trial and error on bosses more than I did the dread mechanics, but I didn't have that much trouble with any of the Emmys, to be perfectly honest. Like,
yeah, they weren't that big of a deal.
They're almost overhyped. Like, they're not really that. Like,
so are they called the Emmys?
They're hard at first, but then you're like, I learned the patterns. Just keep away.
Are they Emmys like as in like win the Emmy for TV work named? Is that how they're named?
Yeah,
EMMI.
Oh, okay.
Instead of a Y, and it's an acronym for some weird, sci-fi bullshit. It's like extraterrestrial, masticating, monstrous informant or something, whatever it is.
I like that masticating.
Yep.
But like,
they just sit there going,
nom, 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 nom.
But the bosses are awesome. Like the boss fights are really cool. And the last boss, I had to try him a lot. The last boss fight certainly was a challenge. I'll just say that he's no pushover. It took me a good 2 or 3 hours of trying to beat him.
Well,
I mean, that's been my story throughout the entire game. Has been it has been this. I'm playing the game, I'm having fun. Oh, shit, I'm stuck. Run around, check everything, look everywhere. Oh, there was a wall I could shoot through. Okay, go through that. And then, okay, here's a boss. Well, I'm never going to be able to beat this. I'm stuck forever because this boss is too hard. And then, 5 minutes later, oh, I beat it. I did it. I was able to complete it. And then you rinse and repeat. Get lost for a while, find a boss, think the boss is impossible. I actually sent Ben a text message today because I knew he had beaten the game, and I was like, look, I know what to do. I just need encouragement because this stupid purple electric bug, for some reason, is breaking my brain, and I can't. He does 3 moves. That's it. And I, for whatever reason, cannot deal with him. I get hit by everything he does, and it just was driving me crazy. And then I just powered through it and I just did it. And I was like, okay, you know what? It wasn't that bad. Or the first time you fight one of these warrior guys and you're like, this is so cheap. Their moves just hit me. And they have 2 moves that look exactly the same when they're about to do it. And one's counterable and the other isn't. And if you wait just a fraction of a second too long on the second move, you get hit by it. I hate this. I'll never be able to do it. And then you finally do it and you're like, good. And then they make you fight 2 of them at the same time. You're like, what are you doing? Why would you do that to me? But it's good.
It gets harder and harder, but it's fun. You get a sense of accomplishment though I don't know. I liked it. I definitely appreciated that stuff. But I want to say I didn't have that much of a hard time. The hardest time, 100% of the items. And I will say that the speed booster puzzles are by far, that's what I was most like, I'll never be able to do this. Oh my God. I had to look up a video for 3 or 4 of them. I was just like, I have no idea how to do this speed boost puzzle. And even after seeing it, I'm like, I still don't get it. Like, how did they do that? I cannot replicate these moves. But after practicing, you get better. Like, that's where I'm like, oh, as I practice things, I get better. And if I wanted to replay it on hard mode and then lower my time, like, then this building on skills makes sense. The game is well crafted, controls wise and stuff, but asks you to put in time to get better at it. I just don't think that's what everyone that's what everyone who's going to buy this game they're just going to want to get a nice adventure. Mm-hmm. And they may be disappointed in what they get.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. But big thumbs up from from Core. It sounds like we're into it.
Yeah,
Oh,
like one of my
yeah,
favorite
huge.
games of the year. Like it's great,
It's
but it's short.
Really, really good.
I find it pretty short. It's for $80. It is a short experience.
Yeah.
I think the campaign save file was 15 hours or something like that.
Yeah. There's some amiibo shit in here. What does it do? I wonder. What do you get?
It replenishes your missiles. I think it's like an ammo reload.
Okay, that's all right, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's kind of
amiibo stuff. I'm kind of over. I like the little figurines, but I don't care about what they do in games. I have a bunch of
I know. We'll say too the few voice lines that Samus has. It's always like wow. The way they did the story is pretty good, even if it's as goofy and sort of PG as it is. Like it's really great.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the all-time greats. It's nice to see a good entry out of Nintendo.
Well, I guess the rumor is they're remaking the Prime games for Switch, and I haven't played them, so I'm like, okay,
that'd be
I
great.
would play these.
I mean, I know
Prime games are really
Prime games are amazing. I know they're also going to do. I mean, Prime 4 is of course coming, so my guess is those Prime remasters will happen maybe just before that.
Yeah.
I would.
I mean,
love
I
that.
prefer the side-scrolly stuff, but I'm just into Metroid right now. I'd be willing to
Oh, the environment is amazing. The tone,
give
all
those
that
games
stuff.
a chance and try them out.
Yeah, I prefer the side-scrolly stuff too, but there's something about the translation of that universe to first person, and you start to realize like how terrifying that world is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I've always been impressed at Metroid for a side-scroller where you're pulled way back and all of that. Its ability to scare me. I thought Metroid Fusion was a scary game.
Yeah.
And atmospheric as hell. Same deal with this one. Like, it didn't really scare me, but there's like stuff where you're just like, oh, that's gnarly. Look at that. And when you go into first person and you're still dealing with the same stuff and these same creatures and all that, like it's effective. Like, it's very atmospheric in a cool way.
Well,
Wow, Prime 4 was announced in 2017.
yeah,
Good
they've been
gravy.
not showing jack shit about it either. In fact, that game was announced way before this was. I mean, this was just announced last E3, right? And then out the same year, I think.
Yeah. So I wonder. I mean, hopefully it's coming.
Yeah.
Now that I'm I'm into Metroid now. I'm like, please release Metroid games for the
Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah.
Also, the first suit is way cooler than any of the suit upgrades.
Oh, all right.
That's actually, I honestly think, a Metroid staple. Like, I actually think there's a weird tendency in Metroid to where the later suits you get, the dumber it looks. But that blue, white, and red one that she has at the beginning is so cool.
It's pretty good, yeah. The blue is a really interesting color in the scheme of things. I always think of her as not that kind of blue anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's something about that blue. Well, anyway, there you go. That's our hot take on Metroid Dread. What's PictoPix, John? I don't even know what that is. What is that?
It's Picross for the PC.
Oh, is it fun? You like that there?
I do. I needed a game to just relax and chill me out, and so I got a game called PictoPix on Steam. It was like $4 or something like that, and it's Picross. I really like Picross. If you don't know what that is, it's, you get hints as to what blocks to remove and what blocks to keep, and you just you draw little pictures with it, and it's relaxing, it's chill. And this, I did a little bit of research on it. I was like, okay, Picross usually is stuff on, Nintendo platforms. So just give me something that is, that sort of deal. And started playing this, and it's chill and it's relaxing, and I enjoyed it. It was exactly what I needed it to be.
Oh, that's good. And it's only $4. I could get that. I like Picross.
I don't know if it was $4, but yeah, it's cheap. It's under 10 for sure. And just lots of puzzles. They definitely, grow and expand. They start you off with like 5x5, and then you do a series of those, and then it gives you 10x10, and it just keeps going from there. And you draw little pictures.
Yeah.
It's great, and it's relaxing and chill.
Yeah. I love the DS game back in the day. It was really good.
I played like 3D Picross and regular Picross. All those that Nintendo was doing are just some of my favorite little puzzle games, and very relaxing.
Yeah, I agree. I get more out of it than I do most puzzle games. I like that stuff a lot.
I also I picked which game was going to follow up my Final Fantasy run for my streams because we're waiting for Final Fantasy V, and the winner of the poll was Chrono Trigger. So I am playing through Chrono Trigger on the PC.
Nice.
Which is not the best version of that game, but it's pretty okay.
Yeah.
It's the UI really has taken some getting used to. I'm getting there finally after multiple hours of it, but we are playing through that, making good progress as usual. There are characters with familiar names. The frog is named Scott, and the character normally known as Robo is now known as Robo, but Bo is spelled like Bo.
Oh, like Robo.
okay.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
Robo.
That's the direction we went with that. I thought you would be happy to know that for once, Scott, you're not a character that's betraying everybody.
Oh, good.
And Bo, for once, you're not a female that's going to be interested in the main character.
Okay, good. These are good
I'm
changes.
just a female robot. Got it.
Yeah, and you as a PC version, why do people not love that version? What's the deal? UI stuff? Or?
Well, so originally when it first released on Steam, it was a port of the mobile version of the game, which was really atrocious. A lot of people were very upset about that.
Yeah.
They did, because it was such a big fallout for a beloved game, they did some work, not the level of work that they've put into the pixel remasters, but they did do some updating to it. So it's not quite the old touchpad interface and fonts and all of that. So they did a little effort to restore it, but it is still a different UI that, again, takes some getting used to. And
the original font in that game is so
bad.
great. I hate when they change the fonts. Like, the fonts are good, are of the era.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
why they
Chrono
do that
Trigger,
either.
as I remember, had great font.
Well, and all the pixel remaster stuff, that's the biggest complaint I read is that they changed the fonts. I still hear that from people. It's
And
like,
people
oh,
like those fonts. I don't know how they can so casually just be like, yep, new font, here you go. And it looks... It's
just so
clear and
sterile.
legible and terrible. Nobody wants that. Everyone wants the nice look of what they remembered. I don't know.
Right. You're not looking for functionality here. You're trying to match these don't match what you're seeing. They look like they're two different things running.
Like if there's ever an argument to be like fonts convey a lot of meaning, like playing these old games like years later with new, more legible but boring ass fonts, it, like speaks volumes about that. It's like, oh,
yeah,
Times New Roman. Ugh.
And in
Arial.
the gameplay
Ugh.
that Scott's showing, you can see this is how it looked at launch with like big buttons that are obviously touchscreen buttons on the screen.
Yeah.
You know, for a PC Steam release, it was really unacceptable. I mean, I bought it the second it came out because somebody said you can buy Chrono Trigger, and I was like, yeah.
That's all you
And as
need,
soon as I saw this, I was like, well, that's getting refunded. And you know, when they did the work they did, I did rebuy it. I would still like to see a pixel remaster of it. You know, it's considered one of the greatest games of all time. I find it shocking how little attention they seem to pay to it, considering the pedigree that it has.
Yeah, everyone loves that game. Never played it though, so I guess I don't, but I probably would. All right, excellent. Final Fantasy 14 still playing.
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
still good.
That's good.
All.
Still
we'll
good.
Just say that. I'm feeling the pressure of trying to be ready for Endwalker, but other than that,
I did fail to mention.
Well, Yoshi P doesn't want you to feel any pressure. Take a break,
no
man.
pressure. Take
it's
a break.
my own personal pressure. He said I could put as much pressure on myself as I want.
He would pat you on the head and say, "John, it's okay.
Don't be weird.
Slow. Don't be weird."
Don't
He'd say.
be weird about the game.
I played a little bit of Rift Breaker. Sitting in the chat reminded me. I would have mentioned I played a little bit of it. This is a game I was actually seriously looking forward to because it looked like mech Diablo to me, and the graphics looked insane. And they showed it at E3, and I was like, "When's that coming out?" Game Pass day one. I'm like, "Sweet, line me up." It was yesterday or Tuesday. Got it. Do not like at all.
Oh man!
That's a tower defense base
Yes.
thing. Right?
Here's the problem: the base and the tower defense stuff. That as soon as I realized how heavy that is in the game, because in the previews and the other stuff I'd seen previously, I knew it was part of the game, but it didn't seem like it was that big of a part of the game. It's a massive part of the game, and it immediately doesn't even want you to fight yet. It's like, why don't you build shit and then build more shit, and then how about some power to power your shit? And I'm like, I do this in other games already that I like more. I don't want to do this. So I bounced hard. I'm not playing that game.
Honestly, I'm watching the trailer for it, and if they just got rid of the base building and made it up to 4-player co-op Diablo with these mech things, it would be like
it'd be insane.
Bye, Blizzard, you guys suck. They made a way better game here. Like,
100%.
It's funny, yeah.
I know this is for someone, and I don't want to tell them not to, because if you're really into tower defense style mechanics, this is probably going to be your jam.
Studios, like for a sequel, not a sequel, but your studio, you might make other games, like make your Riftbreaker game, and then when you're done, make Rift Oblo.
Rift Oblo.
Like do it, man. Like it, because like it looks like there's a lot of lighting effects. Like graphically, it's
gorgeous.
I wishlisted before the show because it popped up on Steam, and I'm like, this looks like fun, exciting action game. Like cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sad to hear you say it's kind of bleh.
It's fine if you but Bo, like if you love tower defense, then don't not get it, especially on Game Pass because it's just there. But
I don't know. I do like a bit of base defense, but I don't like elaborate. You know what I mean? Like
this
like I like it in StarCraft 2. Like the levels in StarCraft 2, the way the base defense works in that game. I'm cool with that. But if it's really involved, like I looked at the game, they are billions, and I'm like, should I play this? I don't know.
Oh, it's hugely good. It's just way more like, oh, you don't have enough power. Put some more power things around here, and I felt like I was playing Factorio.
There's a lot of turrets. I'm watching the trailer, and it looks like you got to put a lot of turrets up on the edges, and things break, and then it goes, oh no, you let stuff break. Oh no, and I'm like, I don't care.
And it's a bummer. Like it actually teleports you back to town if your main part of your base is under attack. No matter what you're doing, you'll be teleported there without even being asked.
Oh no! Is it multiplayer or is it just single player?
I think it's that. I don't know. I shouldn't speak to that.
I mean, it might be more fun if this was a multiplayer experience. Maybe.
Yeah. It's just not for me. I know someone's going to love this.
It feels a little. It feels a little rough to be too harsh on it because it isn't the thing we imagined it could be. But that is also. It's so sad that we live in a world where somebody can go like, hey, Diablo, but you're a bunch of mechs. And you're like, that is the best idea in the world. I want that so bad. And nobody's making it. They're just making stuff vaguely like it.
Yeah.
Like, somebody make it. Hurry up. We need it so bad.
Because mechanically and combat-wise, like the melee combat and the shooting combat in this is very, very cool. Like really cool.
Just think about all the cool stuff you could do with the Mech Oblo. Like, you'd find the parts. Like, your character could look different based on the drops you get. So it's not like you're not picking Necromancer or Barbarian. You just have a chassis, and you pick up the pieces, and everyone's, like, equipped with their pieces, right?
Yeah.
I've got, like, a flame foot, and I got an ice foot, and I got a machine gun arm, and diaper shooting arm or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got, like, this, like, constructed loot droppy thingy built from parts that they find in the world.
Yeah. It's a bummer. I don't know. Just wasn't for me, and I was really looking forward to it. Super stoked. It's not even that big either. It's like 6 gig or something. And
I think we did it to ourselves. We imagined a better game than this could be.
Yeah, we did. We totally did. All they had to show us was some really cool looking animation and stuff. They didn't show much of that base stuff at E3. They didn't hardly at all. So when I saw that, I was like, I'm in. I'm all in on whatever that is. And now,
I mean, mech building is more fun than base building, I guess. Is if you're doing the mech thing, then you should do because you like the mech builder game or repair my mech.
Yes,
game.
I like the mechanic simulator. Is a great game because I'm fixing mechs. It's great.
That's a whole loot table system for a Mech Oblo game. Like, you could do so much with that.
I agree.
Oh man, okay,
Mech Oblo or Diabrift.
Are there any? If there's any angel investors out there, we'll make a pitch deck for Mech Oblo.
Yeah, I'll even do devil.
$50 million.
Yeah, that's all it'll take. No big deal.
I think that sounds about right. $50 million need.
I don't know why there isn't a game like that already. There was something close to it on the original Xbox called. I think John knows about this game because we've talked about it. You were like a police mech, and it was top down like that, and it was awesome. What was that game called?
Police mech.
Yeah,
like
you were in a police.
This is off from our country.
You were for real. Like you were inside of a police mech that had like lights on top, and it was colored like a police colors and stuff. And you were just wiping crime out in the cities, and you were a giant mech in like cyberpunk time. It's an awesome game, and I can never remember the name of it though.
We just need more stuff
LAPD.
like that. We need it so bad.
Future Cop or Future
Cop LAPD is the first thing that came
that's it.
up in my Google.
Is that it? Wait, the LAPD part's jumping out at me.
It's from 2009. Maybe it's not the game. Was it recent or?
Is this it? This might be it. Hold on. This might be it. EA Redwood third-person shooter. Third person? I'm not sure that's it. Let's see. Let's look this up and see some screen grabs. I think this might be it. This is it. I loved this game. This is it. It is LA Cop, or Future Cop LAPD. And I was hoping they'd do more like, here's the NYC and here's, New Orleans.
Yeah, it looks like you're a mech and you're shooting all the criminals.
Yeah.
And other mechs,
I mean, it looks like
stuff.
ass now that I look at it, but the top-down, like, way zoomed-out version is what I played. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that game was great. It looks like shit now. I'm now looking at it. It's like, ooh, that's ugly. But it was explosive and fun, and someone get on that. And don't make tower defense games. Thank you very much. All right. And I played. I played some of that the new Mercenaries mode in Hearthstone, and I think I kind of like it. That's all I'll say about that because I don't really know what I'm doing yet, but I think I kind of like the loop of it. It's not bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you should try
it.
Really?
How dare you?
You should try it. It's like
how dare you like a gotcha game?
I know it is kind of a gotcha game. It's all right. It's I'm not really into Hearthstone multiplayer anyway, so a single player.
Are they giving you lots of free packs, or are you?
You get a bunch at first, and you get characters at first, then you start unlocking shit, and it's like that. The thing I was talking about earlier, the Star Trek game. Like under the hood, it's similar mechanics, but you can spend money in there.
Mm-hmm. It's like log in tomorrow if you want another free pack.
Yeah, you like filling up bars, making numbers go higher.
I mean, I do. I'm a sucker for that stuff.
Well, then Hearthstone may have your number with their latest update, Mercenaries. I don't know. All right, let's move on to... Oh, shit, we got this.
That's a good question.
Quick email. I got to play more music for this. Hold on a second. All right, I'm going to read this one. My dearest Martha, I request to you now a review for episode... present to you now a review for episode 285 of The Core Show. I'm not going to do the voice because I don't want to step on John here. It says, although the graphics for audio listeners were way below our modern standards, the story and narration surely made up for it. At times, it felt like riding a tricycle on two wheels, which surely gives one a sense of danger and adventure, even though I'd personally prefer all three. As a side note, the writer for Baron Bow was fantastic. His dialogue and voice acting was beyond expectations, in my opinion. He should have way more voice lines throughout the campaign. Yours in this life and the next, mildly moist. P.S.
Yeah.
If you had to be any fantastical race, what would it be? Anything goes, such as orcs, goblins, elves, etc. P.S. John, don't be an elf. That's disappointing. That's the whole story. He basically saying he liked our show last week and thought we did a fine job, even though John wasn't here. But John, what do you think about what race would you be if you can't be an elf? You can't pick elf.
Half elf.
Oh shit! Look what he did.
Aha! Gotcha!
Look what
Found a
he did.
loophole.
Look what he did.
Yeah, why wouldn't you be an elf? Why would you be one of the other like?
I want to be
just like obnoxious, slender humans.
Yeah,
like, we live long and we're so.
I would like to be
smart."
more slender. I am smart, and I find other people annoying. It fits my personality type, and I'm like genuinely shocked that it's surprising to other people.
John's name should be Drist Jagger for real. Like you're.
No, I wouldn't want to be like Drist. I don't like Drist.
You don't want to be like Drist.
He's too goody goody. He's got his little panther. Like he can just.
Got his,
What's your favorite fiction elf then?
Yeah, who do you like?
Well, there's one, Stanley Billings. He's pretty cool. He's a bit
I
of
don't
a
know
talker.
if you can pick your own D&D character in this campaign.
Why not? He's a fictional half elf.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, here's the thing. In fiction, I don't like elves typically, which makes it weird that I like elves.
Yeah, you just don't want to admit it because you're too ashamed to say.
No, because like I don't like Legolas at all. I make fun of him all the time because he's just doing this through the whole movie.
Yeah, you make fun of him just to throw everyone else off to fit in, but you're like secretly you love Legolas. No,
that's funny.
No.
It's okay. We don't want to shame you.
Yeah, no shame.
All right, then it's the Kate Blanchett's elf character, right? What's the elf's name?
Queen Galadriel, man.
Galadriel, yeah.
Yeah.
She's all right. I like Kate Blanchett.
She's all right. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I like her better when she's in Thor Ragnarok, but
She's not an elf in that, so you can't pick her.
She's great as hell.
There are rules to this shit.
Yeah. One of my favorite
I don't
memes.
know.
Galadriel's pretty awesome. Or
Yeah.
what about the Lee Pace elf?
Yeah.
He's
No,
all right. Lord
no.
Eyebrows.
The
No.
Lord Eyebrows.
Lord Eyebrows isn't good. I don't know.
forget his name,
I'll
too.
think more on it. What would you guys pick?
Big giant half orc looking dude. I
Oh,
like-
what would I pick for a race or favorite elf?
Yeah, no race. I like
I
big,
think Legolas is my favorite.
big meaty orky dudes. They're my jam. I like them.
I mean, Orlando Bloom's grown on me over the years. I think it was kind of fashionable to dislike Orlando, or but I watched the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. I'm like, I like Orlando Bloom. He's pretty good.
They're bringing the hobbits to Isengard.
But sorry, what was the question?
The question was, what
What
race do you want to be?
fantastical race would you be?
Yeah. Don't
Seems
say
like
don't say
Did the
World of
email
Warcraft
change?
orcs.
Or no,
'cause
I changed things.
Did you hear Blizzard changed all the references to green skins? They took them out of the game this week.
Oh yeah, I know the sanitization of World of Warcraft continues.
On, yeah. It's just
It's races in the game. They literally are different races that have war with each other.
Yep.
It's like, how are you gonna fix that? They're all human now,
Yep.
and they all have a, yeah.
It's a
There's-
stone.
This
They're
rabbit
all
hole
gonna
doesn't
be-
have a bottom, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
They're all going to be humans. They're either going to be male humans or fruit bowls. Those
Yeah.
are going to be
It's
your
like-
two options. That's all we got.
Yeah.
if you want to be reductive about it, it is racism the game.
But
in a
also,
weird way.
they're on the. If they keep up what they're doing, because I agreed with some of the early stuff. Now I'm starting to think it's ridiculous because the end game is you're going to start that because you're going to get to a place where you go, you know what, war is bad. We shouldn't have war. War is a terrible thing. It means the loss of life. This game is now called Peacecraft, or World of Peacecraft, and they're never going to have another war again.
Yeah.
And then the whole point is gone. Like I get the idea that you're trying to fix things up, but this
they're
is
going to announce a
weird.
partnership with Coke. Coke was just the first salvo.
Yeah, it's weird. Greenskins, they're a fake. They're a fake thing. They don't exist.
I mean, that's
And also, it's meant to be a derogatory term. Like
they're meant to have like in the movie they call the humans small teeth. Like they're meant to have slurs that are just not the slurs of this world.
Right.
Because we don't want to trigger people, but they have in fiction slurs about one another, right? Like the small teeth, the green skins. Like they hate each other.
Right.
There's
And
there's
the whole
racism
point
in the
is
game.
you
Like,
create an
the orcs are monsters to some humans that came and killed and arred everybody and stole stuff, and we want to kill them.
You also, it's also be an
invaders.
allegory so that when you have these racial conflicts, the whole point is to address some of those issues by saying, look at Jaina and Thrall and how they figured out a way around this abject racism and this. Like, that's the whole point of the story. Are you going to go back and go, I don't know.
But the issue, Scott, is that every expansion has to have a new reason for them to get all racial war on each other. I mean, they're like, we're bringing it back to Horde versus Alliance. It's like, yes, they have to have that storytelling, and that shows maturity, but there's never going to be a progression from A to B when it's always about war at the end of the day.
It's the whole
And fans
point
want
of the
war
franchise.
of the
Exactly.
races.
It's based on
I mean, it is
war.
the franchise Activision acquired that game and all the, it's like they just need to stop making World of Warcraft or in a new iteration of Warcraft, it's the blended races, and if you're Horde or Alliance, you can be any race, and it's not really about race anymore. But as it stands, it is drawn along racial lines.
Yeah, but also if you really, I mean, I understand the well-meaningness, I do, but at some point you're going to see Blue Man Group and go, oh, I don't know about this anymore. Should we have the Blue Man Group? I mean, it's a color, and we're trying not to just. You gotta
not call them Blue Man, but call them Bluebies.
They're just swinging too far. They're swinging too far. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I think I just said it the other week. It's got nothing to do with anything. Like it's just
It's
they're in
annoying.
trouble and they're scrambling, and somebody thinks it's a good idea, and so there we go.
Yeah, it's just.
I guess there's some talk in the chat room about them getting out of the way. Games Workshop maybe because greenskins are. They've been doing
Why?
this stuff for decades.
Games Workshop just showed up. They just started doing games.
Yeah,
like,
I don't buy that.
And here's the other thing. It doesn't matter. Like, and I've said this all along through all of these changes. It doesn't matter what the intent is. It is not our job as consumers to go and research the deep-seated reasons behind it. It is a case of, hey, we changed this woman to fruit. How do you feel about that? Is that a net positive or a net negative to you? And you answer that question. I don't have to know who did the art. I don't have to know who worked on their team. I don't have to know what the circumstances were around the art when it was created. I don't have to know what year the art was published. I don't have to know if it was based on historical accuracy. All I have to do is go, I like that fruit more than I like that person. I think this change is going to be positive or negative. Like, I if they are doing it because of Games Workshop stuff, it's weird that it took this long, but okay. But at the end of the day, it's also coming on the seat of a bunch of other changes that were based on an internal, like, these are changes we want to make. And we have every right to say, I think that's a good change or a bad change.
Yeah.
So
John said it exactly how I feel. It's exactly
I didn't even
right.
know that painting was there. And I played that game. I don't think anybody knew that painting was there. Like, some nerd was like, oh my God, they changed the painting. And everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
But, like, if you would have polled us the day before, like, name the paintings in X area, everyone would be like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it also doesn't matter. It's like, it's the pinnacle of it doesn't matter in news as well.
It
Like,
kinda
let's all listen to Yoshi P and not be weird about it.
Yeah. Hey, yeah,
exactly.
Yoshi P. Listen to Yoshi P. Ew, Yoshi P. In a Mario context, that's kind of gross.
Listen to Yoshi P.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like we're listening to a dinosaur go whiz in the forest.
Oh my gosh, John's Yoshi is painfully accurate. It's so weird how good your
Yeah,
impression is.
what a beautiful
Remember
thing.
when Yoshi sang a song about assholes?
No.
What?
Yeah. There's a song where Yoshi sings about the asshole. Anyway,
Yeah.
look it up.
Well, there you have
That'll
it.
be your homework for the night. Everybody go research that. It's true.
Yeah.
Chat room back me up.
Yeah.
He sang about it.
Get on it. All right. Now to the email. Oh, no, did I already read it? Yeah, I did. It's the freaking, I already read it. It's the Dear Martha email, and I don't
We
know why.
still don't know what race Bo would
Oh, yeah,
be,
that's
though.
where we got hung up. Bo, what'd you say? What do you think?
I want
What
to be a
race?
pixie. I want to be able to do magic things. I want to be like Tinkerbell,
Pixie's
man.
pretty good.
Yeah. Well, D&D pixies are cool.
I mean, that like Pod is like my character. That hi Nash.
Dude, I miss Pod.
People
Pod
do
is
weird
great.
things. And
Pod-
people want to kill me and smoke me like crack because I'm full of magic.
I was legit sad when Pod was no more. Really
Yeah,
bummed me
but
out.
there's a new Pod out there for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same, but
Yeah, it's not quite the same.
it all depends if you decide to go back to the Tower of Nash, which will remain an option for you as the campaign.
Giant penis in space. We need to change that to a bowl of fruit. Get on that. Okay.
Giant bowl of fruit. He expanded the tower into a bowl of fruit.
Just a giant bowl of fruit. All right, we're gonna get out of here. A quick reminder that this entire thing is sponsored by the fine, good intentions of you folks at home. Yeah, that's right. Go to patreon.com/core show. All right, that's an important aspect of this. It's not just core. I wish it was. Someone else had it. Core show. Patreon.com/core show. Sign up today. Become a patron. And find out why so many other patrons are doing what they're doing. Because it makes a huge difference, and we want to keep growing and keep doing this show. So head on over there and take care of that. Send us your emails, talktothecore@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter @corepod, John_Jagger, Bo Schwartz, and I'm at Scott Johnson. The show is live on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, so if you want to come watch us live, you can do that. You can find us at twitch.tv/frogpants. I think that's everything. John, any final words of wisdom?
Don't make games weird.
Okay, thank you. Yoshi P.
I'm just going to steal
Agrees.
other people's words of wisdom now. That's what I do.
Oh, well, Bo may get some ideas from that. Bo, any thoughts?
Oh yeah, but be a little weird.
Yeah, be a little weird. Ah, that's good. Be a little weird.
I mean,
All right.
embrace your weirdness. Like I get it. I get the don't be weird, but I don't think he means don't be weird.
I think he means
I think he means like don't be obsessive.
don't be jerks,
like-
I think maybe is what he's saying.
It's okay to be a little weird.
Yeah.
We all do little weird things. We got to embrace the weirdness.
He doesn't want to be a
Some of us like to make pooping emotes in our for our Twitch channel.
some of us
it's weird,
really
but
like to
I
do
like
that.
it.
Which, by the way, is not in there anymore. I don't see it.
Oh, I made Scott censor himself.
No,
I'm
I didn't
sorry.
take it out. I think someone else did. It's not there.
Wait a minute, really?
Yeah.
They've already removed it?
Something happened maybe mid-show. I didn't
Oh
see
wait,
it.
no, I see it. I
I
see it locked. It's
I
locked
see-
because
I
I'm
see
not
text.
a subscriber.
Hold on, let me look here. Oh, it is still showing for me, but what if I hit it? Hold on. Oh, it worked.
Okay.
It did
Oh,
it?
it's just showing as Frog Pants Furt for me. I'm not
Yeah, I'm
seeing
seeing
it.
Frog Pants Fur.
So
I'm not
people
seeing
can
emote.
see it, but they see the text on the other side. That's a bummer.
I'm only seeing the text.
I'll figure it out. We may have
Let
been
your
censored.
Furt fly free, everybody. Don't keep it in.
I'm gonna do a bowl of fruit next time. All right.
But the Furt comes out of 2 oranges.
Yeah, that's true. I did do a flump. He's not animated though, but he's in there. Anyway, that's it for us. Thank you all for listening, for watching, for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it, and your support means the world to us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That's going to do it for us. We'll be back next week with more. We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
I showed them you this time. I showed them.
Yeah, what we all do.
Yeah. It's pretty great.